Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I am Glenn Clark. He is Griffin Bass. I like this. We'll see if this one works or not. We had a small issue. Apparently, someone thought that our last song was theirs, which is weird because I get it from a royalty-free subscription service that we use. What I can do about that? So we just move on to another royalty-free subscription service song. And hope that this is the one that doesn't get us dinged on Facebook. Pretty swell. Good morning, Glenn Clark Radio. Major thank you to everyone who came out last night. What a night we had at Skipjack's Crab Deck in Middle River for the Tyus Bowser Show. We're going to listen in on segment number 1 of that program a little bit later on this hour. And you'll be able to hear it, I would say in its entirety, but the truth is we went so long last night that we're not going to be able to get the entire show on 105.7 The Fan on Friday night. We're going to have to leave some stuff on the cutting room floor. I remember going into the third segment saying to Tyus and Rita and Marlon Humphrey, who was a special guest, I was like, hey, we just do a nice quick 10-minute segment here, we'll wrap things up, and then we went for another 20 minutes. I mean, we're just having a lot of fun, man. Great atmosphere, great food. The rockfish bites at Skipjack's last night, I swear to God, they tasted like chicken fingers. Which, like, you'd say, was that what you want? I just hope you understand what I'm saying. Like, when you get certain fried fish, you know you're eating fish. Sometimes you get certain fried fish and you're like, I don't know what this is, but it's decadent almost. And that's what the rockfish bites were last night with a little remoulade. Oh, so good. At Skipjack's Crab Deck, which is a cool place, the deck atmosphere, really awesome. And we just had an unbelievable time last night. Thank you to you guys who came out. Thank you to Pressbox and Grade 8's Memorabilia for making the show possible. Thanks to Maryland Vascular Specialists and the Ginsu Kamado Grill for partnering with us for the show. And huge thanks to Tyus Bowser and to Marlon Humphrey. I don't know if you guys saw on social media. Tyus, I keep trying to tell you, is the nicest human being that I've ever met in my life. I mean, he's just one of the most remarkable people I've ever come across. I don't want to take anything away from Marlon, who was so cool. I mean, he was just outstanding. But Tyus, 2 weeks ago, and Rita were talking about their sneakers because they're both sneakerheads. And Tyus was telling me about Panda Dunks. And I, of course, being not exactly the hippest human being to have ever lived, I was like, oh, yeah, totally know what they are. And he said, I'm going to get you a pair. And I swear to God, it was also because that show was on my birthday. He showed up last night, and he gifted me a pair of Panda Dunks. And I don't even know if I can wear them. Like,
why didn't you wear them today?
I'm going to wear them when we do the next Tyus Bowser show. So on October 4th, when we will be back at Guilford Hall Brewery in Station North, 1611 Guilford Avenue, that will be the next time that you will see me wear the Panda Dunks. And I am all of a sudden it's a whole thing on Twitter. People are like, I got to see what kind of fit you've got with those. Like, I am overwhelmed. I am in over my head. I'm gonna need to like ask Rita ahead of time, how should I dress if I put these shoes on? I don't know what I'm doing, man. Like, jeans. I am nervous.
You should wear jeans.
Jeans?
Yeah, because then he'll really be able to roast you.
Why?
I just don't think those are probably not shoes.
Well, what are you supposed to wear with them?
I don't know.
But that's okay. You're of no help. Thank you. I don't even know why I asked you.
Maybe like
I don't know what you're supposed. I don't
joggers probably.
I literally said I was like, where do I wear these? He's like, because if you're going out. I'm like, all right, well, I'm a father of 2. I don't do that a lot. Those days are in the rearview mirror for your boy. I mean, maybe once again in the future.
Yeah, probably joggers. I would say joggers probably look good.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll talk. I'll let Rita take care of me in that department. Okay. I'll be all right. I'm learning things.
Hey,
but
these are nice shoes.
Yo, they are so nice. Like, they are so nice. He was describing them because he was wearing a pair that were like in Michigan colors, basically. Like, they were blue, and he was like. And I think Rita asked him about if he had a pair of Pandas. And I was like, yeah, I know what Pandas are. And then he described them. I was like, oh, they actually sound like the type of shoes I could wear because, like, they would go with a lot of things, right? Like, I wouldn't be This is
You
eternally
wouldn't stand out. And
eternally right, exactly right. I want them to be something that I could just sort of wear with anything. And he was like, he just said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you a pair." And then I swear to God, he showed up last night with a bag, and I had utterly and completely forgotten about it. And then I was like, "Oh my God,
That's pretty
this
cool.
guy,
Pretty cool.
This guy's amazing. He's just one of the nicest human beings ever." So we'll get you segment number 1 of the Tyus Bowser Show coming up a little bit later on. And if you want to find out more, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I didn't know you were doing that." I don't know how that's possible. I mean, you might as well just like say to me, "I hate you and I hate everything that you're about and I don't support you in any way." We couldn't talk about the Tyus Bowser Show more frequently. But if for some reason you're still out of the loop, PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser is the website for you to find out more. Marlon Humphrey came out last night and took pictures and signed autographs for everyone in the place. Yo. You missed your opportunity to just come hang out with Marlon Humphrey. Some dude didn't even want pictures or autographs. He was just like, "I just wanted to talk to you." Like literally just walked up and was like, "Could you tell me about like who your favorite quarterback is that you've ever faced, the one that you hate?" Like these guys were so cool. They just went with it. I've never seen anything like it, man. I don't know if you guys have heard. Marlon Humphrey's a football star. Tyus Bowser is a legitimate, well-paid, high-end football player. These aren't guys that are, the last guy is on the roster, and they're just hanging out, shooting the breeze, meeting Ravens fans last night in Middle River. I mean, I don't know what else you could ask for. I don't know what else you're looking for, man. I'm sure you had a good Tuesday night, though. Staying home watching the Orioles. I'm sure that was fun for you. I'm sure you enjoyed that. I'm sure that was pleasant. God. All right, we'll get you that later on in the show. Our buddy Shaun King. It's been a while. Former NFL quarterback, and now he's also, much like our friend Aaron Oster, with VSiN out in Vegas. Of course, actually, I think they work together out there, and that was the reason why I had thought about Shaun. I was, man, it's been a long time since we've had Shaun on the show. So wanted to do that. We'll talk some Ravens, get his thoughts on what he's seen from them. Also probably talk a little bit of betting as well. And also it's Wednesday, so for better or for worse, Drew Forrester, drewsmorningdish.com will check in with us. I don't know, whatever. We'll do something with him. And it's Would You Rather Wednesday. I've got the scenarios up on Facebook, facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Give me 1 minute. We will get them up on Twitter as well. So, all that being said, the Orioles lose again last night. I don't know how to do the thing. Like, I already did the funeral for the Orioles, so I don't really have anything else to say about it. I can't pretend like that. By the way, it took way longer than I thought to get to the point where I wasn't watching the games. I didn't think I was going to be watching the games in May. Turns out we got all the way till September till I stopped watching the games. But I didn't even have the thought to put. I actually, this is a straight shoot. I came back here after the show last night because I don't have any internet at my house and I had some work to get done. And I put Cobra Kai on in the background as I was working. Then I was like, oh, I wonder what's going on in the Orioles game. And I checked. I mean, I looked at my phone and I saw it was 3-2 and I said, man, okay. And I just moved on with my day. I'm not trying to be disparaging. It's just, that's the reality of the circumstances. It was over. It's been over. So it's a bummer, and I wish it wasn't the case, but it happens, and there's nothing you can do about it. Gunnar Henderson hit a home run last night. Swell. I hope
the Mariners lost, so we didn't lose any ground somehow. They lost to the Athletics.
That matters if you have the room to make up the ground.
I mean, there's 15 games left, 5 games back.
Yes, definitely a thing that could still occur. The really scary part is that Gunnar Henderson has to be your answer next season. The good news is he looks like he could be. I mean, like, that's the reality. He looks like he's ready to be a star in this league immediately. So, it's a bummer that Gunnar Henderson couldn't single-handedly save the Orioles, but the good news is he has looked good enough that you genuinely believe that you have a true superstar in the middle of your infield moving forward. Now, where does he exactly play? To be determined. The Orioles will have to figure that out. Are they in the market for a shortstop in the offseason? Do they think that Gunnar Henderson is their long-term shortstop? All those things are still relevant questions. These things will be hashed out over the course of the offseason. But for now, just pleasant that Gunnar Henderson is proving very quickly to be exactly the hitter that everyone thought he was going to be. The Orioles will wrap up that series with the Tigers tonight. The other big story from yesterday was the Ravens once again host Jason Pierre-Paul for a visit. And this is getting to be a little wacky. Like, what's going on here? How many times do you need to, like, I understand going out on multiple dates in order to try to figure out if somebody is, like, not a psychopath or something like that. Like, you meet somebody, you're like, they seem cool. But I'm not going to rush into a marriage. We're going to maybe go out on a few dates, maybe, court this person, sort of figure them all out, right? Like, within a couple dates, you might find out, wow, she is not the one for me. Or he is a little off, whatever it is. I don't get this, though. I'm trying to figure out the scenario by which you bring him in once. I guess maybe there's a world in which you say, we didn't think he was in game shape at that point. And so you say, hey, man, we'd like to sign you, but we just don't think you're there.
Or
can you put the work in and then get back to us? But then if he shows up again and he doesn't sign, then you would say, well, then he's definitely not going to get into game shape at this point. Like,
Or maybe they want to wait to put him on film, and like the first game they want him is against Buffalo, so that like the Bills can't I don't know if they're gonna do something. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know if they have like some plans with him, so they don't want to use him against the Patriots because they think they can get by against the Patriots.
Somebody else could sign him though, right?
Well, that they're not letting him leave the building.
What?
I don't know.
What are you even saying?
I'm trying to figure out why he wouldn't be a Raven already.
The only thing I can assume is because he can't be. That's the only possible assumption I can make. Or he genuinely believes he can still sign for real money. Maybe he feels that way. I don't know where he thinks that's coming from. Like, I don't know how deep in the season you're willing to hold out this hope that somebody's got. I don't even know what real money would be at this point. I mean, most teams are. I don't know how much cap space is even floating out there. Dude, I don't know. Like, it is. I have to assume it means he's just not he's not ready, or he's not there, or whatever. He sent a text. Can you pull up because Josina Anderson tweeted that she got a text from him after. Can you try to pull that up?
Yeah.
And read what the tweet was? I think it said he's planning on meeting with other teams this week. And so maybe he's trying to start some sort of bidding war for his services. Again, dude, we're 3 weeks into a season. I don't know who you're starting a bidding war with.
She said she just got off the phone with Jason Pierre-Paul after his visit with Baltimore. He said, I worked out for them this morning. Everything went good. I left there already. The interest is mutual, so we'll see how the business side goes, but a couple other teams reached out as well.
Man, the business, oh boy. I can't imagine what the business side would be. Dude, there's a little bit of money. You can have it or you can not have it. That's the way that it goes. It comes off way more to me like he's not ready, or he's not able to do it, or something like that, man. It is really hard to fathom a guy coming in now twice for visits, leaving both times without a deal. And it was difficult for me to believe yesterday, before he was in the building, that Jason Pierre-Paul could help be part of the answer for the Baltimore Ravens. Like, it was difficult for me to fathom that. You brought him in once, you didn't sign him. That, to me, says a lot. But, it could have been, and I said this at the time, maybe it was Jason Pierre-Paul saying, dude, I'm not doing training camp. I'm not doing that stuff. I'm not doing preseason. You see me. You see where I am. You get to the season. You need somebody, call me. Like, that was the scenario that I could present in my mind where I'd say, maybe he did have something to offer. Maybe the Ravens wanted to sign him, and he just said, dude, I'm not doing that. He's only 2 years removed from being very productive, but he's 2 years removed from being very productive. In 2020, he played a complete season. He finished with 9.5 sacks. Yeah, you definitely take that. The problem is, a year ago, he played 12 games and finished with 2.5 sacks. And he ain't getting younger. So, he's the same age as Justin Houston, for what it's worth. It's a weird feeling where I'm not sure that Jason Pierre-Paul can help. I'm even less confident, given now that he's been here twice and he hasn't gotten a deal either time. Whatever the circumstances might be, whether it's the Ravens being apprehensive about signing him at all or apprehensive about giving him a certain amount of money, none of that sounds like this dude is ready to go and ready to help. None of that sounds like that. If he was, you would think the Ravens would have gone out of their way to make sure he didn't leave the building. And yet, I'm also not opposed to it because they're so thin that bodies alone could probably help. Like, I'm not going to be down on it if today we get the news that Jason Pierre-Paul signed with the Ravens because somebody's got to play. I mean, until, obviously, Tyus is ready to come back and hopefully David Ajabo after that. I'm not excited about Jason Pierre-Paul. He doesn't do anything for me, but, I mean, dude, what are your options? I mean, it really is that bad. I can't be certain that he's more helpful at this point than Jeremiah Moon would be, who's on the Ravens practice squad and was an undrafted free agent and, was a pretty productive player at Florida that went through some injury issues. Maybe that's a better play. Maybe ultimately you'd be better off just calling up Jeremiah Moon. But they got to do something. They have to do something. They brought in Blake Martinez as well yesterday, correct? Blake Martinez.
Yes, they did.
I didn't think of him as an edge rusher, though. Like, I didn't. Maybe I'm just haven't followed Blake Martinez enough. I always thought he was. I always thought he was an inside.
I'm
but I thought he was an
is.
inside linebacker. Yeah, the Ravens have made a history of finding productive inside linebackers off the scrap heap.
Yeah.
I mean, like that. To me, anybody that they sign that's an inside linebacker, I'm like, it'll probably work out because that's what they do. They find the LJ Forts of the world. They break glass every year and sign Josh Bynes. The Ravens have a lengthy history of just finding productive inside linebackers. Not game changers, but productive inside linebackers. It's part of the reason why I've kind of balked at, spending big costs on inside linebackers over the years because I have so much faith in their ability to find productive inside linebackers. I don't even know how to react to it, really. The idea of Blake Martinez, like, okay, sure, if you want to, I mean, by all means, go for it. I don't know. I trust their decision there, whether they do or they don't. The Jason Pierre-Paul thing, man, perplexing. I mean, really perplexing. Guy comes in twice. Doesn't sign either time. It's just really hard. It's really hard for me to believe that there's something there and there's a reasonable explanation as to why he's visited twice and not signed. The only thing I can infer is there's just nothing there. When they brought him in, they're like, dude, it's over. We'd be better off with Jeremiah Moon. We'll find out. I mean, I assume we find that out today. I assume they got another roster spot with Steven Means being put on IR. Like I assume that they do something, but do I know that? No. And Bo, we talked about this with Bo last week, where there were a few times during the course of the year where they just sort of left roster spots available, maybe to protect for flexibility. So we'll see how that plays out today, and whether or not the Ravens do add Jason Pierre-Paul, or I don't even know, like, if there's some, it seems like we've kind of coalesced around that as being the only guy that's even out there. I haven't even thought about the other list of guys that maybe still want to play. I haven't even. Could they bring back Pernell McPhee again? Did he end up signing somewhere? Like, jeez, I don't know. I don't have those answers. All right, today's show also brought to you by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour. If you missed it, Stan the Fan Charles and Ross Grimsley caught up with our buddy Jerry Coleman this past Monday, and you can find that show right now. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab, or go to YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video and see it there. When we come back in, Tyus Bowser, Marlon Humphrey, the Tyus Bowser Show, segment number 1 from last night at Skipjack's. We'll get that to you next. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Stan the Fan here, welcoming back one of my favorite sponsors, the Costas Inn. And everybody around Baltimore knows the Costas Inn is a great place to go and grab crabs, steaks, salads, soups, whatever's on your mind to eat in person. But did you know that the Costas Inn has upped their game? They are now one of the premier takeout places in Baltimore. Give them a call now to order your food, 410-477-1975. That's the Costas Inn over 4100 North Point Boulevard.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Bo Smolka profiles Ravens tight end Mark Andrews' path to NFL stardom, from his late decision to play the sport full-time through having to overcome type 1 diabetes and more. Also, inside, we introduce you to football players at Maryland, Navy, Towson, and Morgan State. And we give you everything you need to know for betting football this season. Press Box is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores. And you can always find the entire edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the Demos, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
See Olympic athletes in action as the nation's best horses and riders compete in one of the world's premier equestrian events at the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Academy, October 13th through 16th in Cecil County. Don't miss the breathtaking excitement of the dynamic cross-country competition or the elegance of dressage and precision of show jumping. There's also great shopping and activities, including a fresh food fest, corgi race, and a beer, wine, and spirits showcase. So come enjoy a beautiful fall day at the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, October 13th through 16th. Learn more and buy tickets at maryland5star.us.
The Maryland Lottery presents Ravens' Greatest Plays. 2001, the big one. New York had just scored, and momentum was on their side when the Ravens returned the ensuing kickoff 84 yards for the touchdown that cemented their first world championship. Another great Ravens play belongs to Beth of Riverdale. Beth played Ravens scratch-offs and won a chance to travel with the team to an away game. You could be next. Play Ravens scratch-offs with instant prizes up to $100,000. And please play responsibly.
The Baltimore County Police Department is hiring. Entry-level officers start at close to $59,000 a year with a $10,000 bonus. Some restrictions apply. Plus a great retirement plan, medical, dental, and vision insurance, advancement to specialized units, tuition reimbursement, 15 sick days earned per calendar year, and even further incentives for military members and veterans. If you have a passion for service and want a career for life, visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com or call 410-887-5542. You must be a United States citizen, possess a valid driver's license, and have a high school diploma or GED equivalent. The Baltimore County Police Department is an equal opportunity employer.
If you can't listen or watch live, you can subscribe to the show via Spotify, Amazon, or Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star review while you're there. Or, if lying isn't your thing, we'll take a 3.5-star review too.
Today's show brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, where that's always the best place to go to watch and bet on every major sporting event. And on top of that, any $25 parlay bet that you make, odds plus 500 or more, you win $5 in free bet, capped at $50 for you to come back the following week and use on a single game parlay, also of odds plus 500 or more. I know that sounds complicated. I understand, and they can explain it to you more when you get to the window. But you want to go bold, try to win some money, you're going to get a second chance, essentially. They are giving you 2 chances for the price of 1. And by the way, you could hit on both and be extraordinarily wealthy. Please consider a tip for your pal Glenn, who pointed you in that direction. But you go make your $25 parlay bet, odds of plus 500 or more, you will get, you got to be a Live Rewards member, so I do have to make sure that you understand that. You will get free bet credit to come back the following week and make a $5 free bet on a single game parlay, plus 500 odds or more. Got it? That's simple. I know it doesn't sound simple, but once you do it, you'll understand how simple it is. FanDuel Sportsbook, live casino in Hotel, Maryland. If you want to be there for a football Saturday or football Sunday or Thursday night, Monday night, whatever it is, reserve your spot right now because they get massive crowds. Events at sportssocialmd.com. They've got more self-service kiosks coming. They've got the bet pads. They are doing everything to make your experience as pleasant as it can possibly be to watch and bet football games this fall. All right. Before we get to the Tyus Bowser Show, quickly, thank you, Chris. Aaron Judge, yes, hit his 60th home run of the season last night. It's remarkable. There's no getting around that. It's remarkable. We had a conversation the other day with Jeremy Kahn about the extraordinary nature of the MVP debate. Whole different thing. I just want to be abundantly clear about this. There is no debate about who owns the single-season home run record. And you can be bothered by that as much as you want to be bothered by that. But history cannot be rewritten. Barry Bonds owns the single-season home run record and the all-time home run record. And if you want to be mad about that, be mad about that. But you can't change history because you don't like it. You can say something like, well, in my mind, if Aaron Judge hits 62, he's going to be the single-season. I can't tell you what to do in your mind. There's a lot of things that people do in their minds that I don't understand. You just can't make your reality actual reality. If you want to be, if in your mind you're Michael Jackson, you can do that. You just don't get to be Michael Jackson in real life. You don't get to go play concerts in front of thousands of people because you're not Michael Jackson. If you want to believe that Aaron Judge is breaking a single-season home run record in your mind, I can't stop you from that. But you don't get to rewrite history because you don't like it. Barry Bonds owns the single-season home run record, period. The number is 73. You can say, yeah, but he did steroids. I understand that. Major League Baseball didn't test for steroids. Major League Baseball wanted to reap the benefits of home run chases. And as Barry Bonds, who was the greatest player in all of baseball at the time, watched these other guys get all the accolades and surpass his numbers, he said to himself, well, why wouldn't I do what they're doing? And you can't get me to get angry about that. You'll never be able to get me to feign some sort of outrage over what the sport did. The sport wanted to take advantage of home run numbers escalating to come back from a dark period where they were no longer America's pastime because of a strike. They wanted, no pun intended, extra juice. And they got it. The problem is that they got a little more than they bargained for. It couldn't be hidden. The numbers were so outrageous that everybody knew. So then they had to, of course, feign outrage. How dare this? How dare these scoundrels do the thing that we were, wink, winch, nudge, nudge, kind of encouraging them to do, like, how dare they? So I don't play this game, and I never will. I'll never play this game. Bud Selig gets to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. The guy who, set all of this up. The great baseball players, and I'm not talking about Mark McGwire. Mark McGwire was not a great baseball player. He was a decent baseball player. But Barry Bonds, who might well be the greatest baseball player of all time, doesn't get to be. And you must say, I don't feel bad for Barry Bonds. It's fine. I don't really feel bad for Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds is a jerk. I don't feel bad for him. But we don't rewrite history. We don't pretend like something that happened didn't happen, or that the circumstances by which it happened aren't relevant. Major League Baseball wanted the home run records broken. They wanted this to occur because the sport, quote unquote, needed it at the time. You want to be mad? Be mad about that. Being mad at Barry Bonds because he was watching other people and saying, I'm better than them. You're not going to get me to do it. You can say, oh, it's still cheating. Cheating. Even if everybody else is cheating, if you cheat, you still cheat. You can say it all you want. Major League Baseball didn't test for steroids. They welcomed it. Aaron Judge does not get to be, I mean, if he hits 14 more, and how many games you say are left? 15, something like that? I mean, it ain't impossible. It's not. It's very unlikely. But when I see things like, John Sterling was scheduled to be off, but he's going to come back for the pursuit of Aaron Judge's and the home run record. Like, the team record, yeah. I mean, he's going to break the Yankees team record. And I guess that's a big deal to them. I don't know. If they care that much about it, sure. I didn't even think about the fact that I guess it's the American League record that he could be after. I mean, it's not nothing. It's something. But there is no world in which Aaron Judge is actually breaking a home run record. Because whether you like it or not, that number is set. Be mad about it. Be furious about it. Call your mother. I don't know what to tell you. You don't get to rewrite history because you don't like it. Not a sermon, just a thought. What?
He's batting .475 in the month of September.
Yo, I'm not. Look, the season Aaron Judge is having is nuts. Yeah. And as of this moment, he would be a Triple Crown winner. He went ahead in batting average. At this moment, the season ended today, he would win the Triple Crown. It's remarkable. I mean, it really is. It's remarkable. Nobody's debating it. It's incredible. I do still think that the people that want to make it seem like, I saw somebody else, some New York-based baseball writers, like, he should be the runaway winner of MVP. No.
It should definitely be a discussion.
Like, if he wins the MVP, I'm fine with it. And by the way, because most of the writers are based in New York, he's going to win the MVP. Like, actually, that's not true because they don't let all of the writers vote. It's a certain number of writers, but I still think that the New York bias will get him MVP. I think he's going to win it. But the idea that it's some runaway or slam dunk, like you're just spitting in the face of fact because you're caught up in something. It's not runaway. It's not slam dunk. I think he's going to win. I'm almost certain that he's going to win. And it's fine that he's going to win. But the idea that it's, he's up here and Shohei Ohtani's here. Like, no, they're right here. And it's a fascinating debate. And it probably requires 60 home runs and a Triple Crown at this point in order to even be in the conversation for MVP in the Shohei Ohtani era. By the way, think about that more because he pops up in Would You Rather Wednesday. And those scenarios are up now at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter as well as Facebook. All right, today's show also brought to you by the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill. If you are headed out to a Baltimore football home game this season, stop by Hammer Jacks, and at the Mother's Tailgate, you will find lovely Griffin, resplendent, and the press box crew.
Handing out some sausage.
Yeah, Griffin, you can go get Griffin sausage. He wants to put his sausage in your mouth. Well, it's not his. It's from the Ginsu Kamado Grill. Every home game, you can hang out at Hammer Jack starting at 9 a.m. before, during, after every Ravens game. Free to get in, all-inclusive option for $49. Get your tickets at hammerjacks.com. But more importantly, make sure you reserve your Ginsu Kamado Grill, the perfect ceramic tailgate or home grill for searing, grilling, baking, and smoking all kinds of food. Get the details and reserve yours today. GinsuGrills.com. This happened last night. We were at Skipjack's Crab Deck for segment number 1 of the Tyus Bowser Show. Let's take a listen right here on Glenn Clark Radio. And welcome into the Tyus Bowser Show. We are live at Skipjack's Crab Deck in Middle River. Would y'all make some noise? I am Glenn Clark. She is the NFL chick, Sarita Hubbard. Rita, what's going on?
Good evening.
It's good to see you.
You mentioned Tyus being a good person, and so we have to expound on that. I like using nice words.
Can we introduce the man first? Can we do that?
Okay.
The star of the show.
The star of the show.
The host of the show.
The host of the show.
He is Mr. Tyus Bowser. Would you give it up for Tyus Bowser?
Hello, everyone.
Okay, can I talk now?
I do also need to say that Tyus Bowser Show is brought to you by Maryland Vascular Specialists and the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill. Now, you may say anything you would like, Rita.
Okay, so Tyus is a great person, as Glenn has already said. So to expound on that, I just want to say, last week's show, we talked about dunks, panda dunks. And was that the first time you learned about panda dunks?
Yes.
Okay, so if you don't know, they are the black and white low top Nikes, right? And so we talked about getting a pair, and so Tyus bought Glenn a pair of Panda Dunk shawl.
Yeah, man. Show everybody.
These are, I'm not kidding about this. These are the nicest things I've ever seen in my life.
He confirmed he asked me what his size was. We found out his size. He bought him in his size. So that just speaks volumes on the type of person that he is. It's awesome.
I don't have the words. Yo, I mean, my kids got me T-shirts that said "Best Dad" for my birthday, but this might. Don't tell them. Man. Like they won't hear this. Don't tell them. This is a better gift. Can we play a round of Inform a White Man? Can we play that round?
Oh, sure.
Right? Can we do that right now?
Yeah.
If I go out wearing these shoes,
okay.
Like, are people gonna think that I'm rich? Like,
no.
Are these like shoes that people just wear?
No, but let me tell you something. What you better not do is act like these just some regular Nikes.
No.
Because you know, people start wearing them sneakers and they start they get dirty and you don't want to wipe them off. No, you take care of these.
Tyus, what are the appropriate circumstances for me to wear these pandas?
To a situation like this, so like more things like this every little day. Just go out and wear them, but you're not going out on the field and you know, in the dirt or putting these going to the beach.
You got to remember though, I've got a 7 and a 5-year-old. You have no idea how many situations in my life don't start that way.
Do not wear them dunks with them kids.
Don't do it. Don't do it because they won't look the same.
That's the
issue.
That's the issue. Dude, that is seriously one of the nicest things anybody could do. I am so blown away by that. Gotcha. You also brought a gift for Rita's mom too.
I did.
Tyus came in here like Santa Claus tonight, man. It was awesome. It was so cool.
Yeah, but me and her, we was talking the last show, and she mentioned, you know, trying to get a jersey from me. So I worked something out to try to get one for her. So she has it right now. I'll sign it after, but I got it.
So you know, Miss Wanda is the real star of the show. She's the real star of the show.
Absolutely.
Tyus as a special guest is going to join us tonight. Marlon Humphrey will be with us for segment number 2 of the show. If you're with us on 105.7 The Fan. All right, what do we say? Like,
yeah,
what do we even say? Here's my feeling powerless when you can't do anything about it. We've talked about going through the injury. We've talked about the difficulty of not being out there. But when something like that is happening and you are forced to just watch it, can you describe the pain of something like that?
Not really, man. It's just seeing and helping these guys whenever they get on the field, or, you know, trying to be a voice to them while they're on the field, just letting them know what's coming around, what plays is coming up, just little things that they do, just trying to critique them in any little way. But other than that, man, it's just pain, you know, trying to watch and not being able to be a part of it and helping the team win. So it was very tough seeing that happen.
There's a lot of youth on this team. So when you have a situation like that, you know, obviously the fourth quarter, how do you talk to them to move forward from that? Because we know that, you know, they tell you guys all the time, you gotta let it go. You can't keep those types of plays in your head. But, you know, just the way and how that happened, I'm sure that's just not something that you can easily forget. So what's the advice that you give to the younger players? How do you move forward from that?
I know for me, coming from college, one of the main things my head coach always told me was to trust your training and always go back to your technique. So when things are going bad, when things are just not working out for you, you just can't get a stop or, whatever it is, always go back to your training and trust the guy beside you to do their job. But the number one thing is trust your training and do your job. And, we'll always figure out a way to get ourselves back on track.
It's the Tyus Bowser Show, 105.7 The Fan. Is there a moment where, like, everybody agrees, okay, this is done now? Like, is there a formal, we've watched it, we've gone through it, does somebody say something? Like, how does that, because it's easy for us to say, well, you burn the film after, but that's not how it works, right? Like, you guys have to get better. Mm-hmm. So is there a moment during the week, is there a part, on Tuesday, on Monday, whatever it is, where you guys say, all right, we've said everything we're going to say about this. Mm-hmm. It's you literally burn something. I don't know what it is. You officially move on from whatever happened the past week.
Well, that was around 3:30 today.
Okay.
When we said that.
So we can't talk about it now, is the way it goes.
I mean, for the sake of the show,
sounds a little bit
we
like
can talk
Fight
a little
Club,
bit about it.
Yeah.
But as a defense, as a team, around 3:30 when we finished watching the entire game, we said we're going to put this behind us and move forward to the Patriots. So, I mean, it was tough, looking at that film for an hour and a half and critiquing every little play. But like you said, it's needed. It's needed for everybody to see this and go through this. But like Coach McDonald said, it's the second game of the season. And we have plenty more games to go, and we're not going to let this define the rest of the season. So that's our mindset moving forward, and now our focus is on the Patriots.
There's not, like, nobody gets fined if they bring it up after that, right?
No,
like if somebody's walking around, it's not like, all right, bro, you got to go do like 100 burpees or something.
No. This is a professional league. One thing about this league, man, in any situation, win, loss, draw, whatever it is, you got to move on to the next week because you have another opponent that's coming to embarrass you, regardless if you played a good game or not. They're going to come in and get ready to play. So that's our mindset moving forward.
Do you guys have the same type of process that fans do? And I can't say this is all fans, but this is my process, right? So Sunday, I allow myself to live in the emotions of it. Mm-hmm. Monday, I then turn to the logic of it, and then Tuesday, I say, okay, on to New England.
What part of that?
Is it the same process?
I have like 5 hours of eating my feelings in there. Do you go through that too, or?
We do go through that. We do. I know for Sunday it was tough, and then just during the team meeting with Coach Harbaugh, he just knew like that Monday coming off of it, it was just still raw. Just seeing it, It's on here right now. Look at it.
Oh, God.
Let's not. Let's
Of
talk
all the
more.
things.
Talk more, look less.
But that's what we have to go through reality-wise, and just us going through that Monday and seeing that, we just kind of use that day to get ourselves collected, get ourselves together, and then Tuesday coming together to figure out what went wrong, what we can do to improve and move forward. And that's what we did today, and now we can put our focus on the Patriots. So.
If you were to eat your feelings, the way that some people, would anybody else be willing to admit that they ate their feelings on Sunday? Can anybody else be? Thank you for being adult enough to admit that if you were to eat your feelings, what would be the go-to method for eating your feelings?
Did somebody say liquor? Somebody said drinking?
That's definitely not for me. But I know for me, one of the main things is kind of like just getting away, getting into my own space, maybe going down to the harbor, going down to D.C., and just kind of just recollecting myself, put on some good music, just walk around, National Harbor or, the National Mall in D.C. and just kind of get myself back in order. That's my thing. I don't know about drinking. I don't know about,
I mean, I definitely didn't eat an entire wheel of cheese. That didn't happen. What are you?
I'm sure that
you did that. What are you talking about?
A whole wheel of cheese? What kind of cheese?
No, not a whole wheel, but. Okay, I feel like I'm being interrogated now. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm going to choose to move on.
It's okay, man. I understand. This was a very tough time for all of us.
It was a tough day, bro.
So any way that you can move past this, do it, and then figure out how to come back from it.
And then I want to apologize because Glenn and I do the Ravens post-game show on 105.7. It was very colorful. It was very colorful.
Very colorful. What you mean by that?
It was very colorful. It was very. I'm sorry. Let's just leave it there.
Just leave it there.
Rita chose laughter in the
did.
aftermath. We got to turn the other mic on because Marlon's about to walk in.
That was how I dealt with it. I dealt with it by laughing because I couldn't do the alternative of laughing is crying, and I wasn't gonna do that. So I just had to giggle. I giggled for like 3 segments straight. Yeah, Glenn is laughing because he knows it's true.
I'm thinking about it again.
Wow.
It was almost awkward. I thought I might be in the room with
it was very like if you didn't know me, you would think that I was a little crazy.
Like something's wrong with
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I was a little bit worried that she might we can't let her buy a gun. Like I was a little bit worried.
It was that bad, huh? Golly, I didn't know it was that bad.
It was raw, dude. Like it was raw.
Well, hopefully we don't have any of those games again to where she's feeling like that.
Thank you
we
very
don't want
much.
to see any other results coming from this.
I would like my sanity to be
Yes.
in place. Thank you.
I want that for you as well.
Thank you.
Let's get an update on you. Since the last time we talked, since the last show, we saw you out on the field doing some work.
Yeah.
How you been feeling? You feel still good, on track? Whatever it is that you're allowed to or supposed to say
Hey,
here.
because we need you. Hey, friend, because we need you over there.
Nah, but I've been feeling good, man. Just being on the field, just getting back to the football mode again. It's been feeling good. A few other things I'm still working on, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at and what I've been able to do. So gradually just taking it day by day. And shoot, man, I feel like we're making the right progress to get me back on the field.
I'm not trying to say anything. The next show we're scheduled to do just happens to be week 5 of the season. Just weird. Just putting that out.
Yeah, that is weird.
Just happens to be week 5. That's
Yeah.
all. Just nothing. Not saying anything.
Yeah.
Just might coincide nicely if.
Well, hey, if you see me on the field, you see me on the field.
That's what I'll take.
I'll just say that.
Before we wrap up this segment, you want to do an introduction of the man that's out here with you tonight?
Yeah, man. This is a Pro Bowler, All-Pro guy. One of my draft brothers, and that man is number 44, Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, sorry I'm late. I had a financial call, so at least I was late for a good reason, somewhat. But happy to be here at Skip Jack's Crab Deck, and
Hell yeah.
ready to get the combos going.
We're going to have you do all the commercials tonight. That's the way it's going to go. Marlon, thank you for coming out. It's great to see you. Let me give the same, before we take this break, I'm going to give you the same question to you because unfortunately you weren't out there for much of the fourth quarter on Sunday. The powerless feeling, can you put that into words? Because Tyus was just telling us about how painful it is. You want to do something about it, you can't do anything about it.
I was out there for a good chunk of the game, but when it really kind of hit the fan, I was not, and it was it sucked. It was weird because I was more nervous watching than I ever am on the field. It was really weird, but I think I was just like, it didn't really even seem like it was real the way.
Everything just worked out.
It just worked out in a crazy way, and it sucked. But hopefully that's the last time that happens with different busts, basically, of everyone looking like what just happened. So hopefully that's the last time, but hopefully it's for sure the last time I'm watching, and pretty soon Tyus is ever watching the Ravens play.
Yeah.
Let me do this. Are you guys able to say, if we just get back out there, we're not worried about this? It sucks what happened, but, Marlon, we saw the numbers today. When you were on the field on Sunday, there was not a problem. Tyus, the pass rush is a lot better if you get back out on the field. Can you take it that way? Can you look at it and say, hey, this sucks, but when we get back out there, everything will be all right? Tyus, I'll start with you.
One thing for sure is I'm confident in the guys that's on the field, regardless of if I'm on there or not. With DeCosta, with Coach Harbs, we had the right guys on the field to make, those plays to win the game. And you've seen it from the first half. That's the same exact group that we had, with me not being out there. So I'm confident in those guys to be able to go out there and take care of business and we come out with a win. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And I mean, me just being confident, I know that in certain ways I can maybe alter, a few other things within, what happened in the game. But for the most part, whatever happened, man, it is what it is. I'm still confident in our team and who we have on the field, and we're going to continue to win games for this franchise. So.
Marlon, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I'm kind of echoing what Ty said. I think I'm pretty confident in whoever's out there, but for sure you just kind of can't have those, mental lapses there, and just got to stay together. But after we watch the film, we watch it players separate, then we watch it on the off day, players, then we watch it today as a defense. It was just crazy how simple it was. Yeah. Like it wasn't like it was just like, bro. Like it was like, bro, that literally that just cannot it just cannot happen. And it's crazy. Like I don't think that's ever, since I've been here, like something so simple happened. So those things I think I know for sure will be the last things like that happen. And I just can't wait to get back. I can't wait for Sunday, honestly. Yeah.
How quiet is it when you have to watch it collectively as a group? Because it's one thing like when you can do it by yourself, right? But then to watch it with other people, and then a lot of it is just about, like you said earlier, mental breakdown. So then you're watching your teammates, you watching how it all happened, and it's like, do you peek over at somebody when you see something like, hey man, that was you?
I mean, for me, I feel like with watching film today, it was just the little details, like him saying, it's like, yo, are you serious? Like, we've been working on this all training camp.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just the little detailed things that we have to get figured out, and that's understandable with us being in the second game of the season. We're still trying to figure out who we are as a team, as a defense, and we're going to make mistakes along the way. We have a lot of young guys, like you mentioned, on the field, and it's just part of the growth, and that's the enjoyment of, this being the second game and not the 13th, 14th
Absolutely.
game where this could actually determine how we move into the playoff. So from that, we just learn in that aspect, and we take that with a grain of salt and keep it moving.
All right, then we're going to move on from it too. That's how we're going to handle it. We covered it. Everybody good? We good? Can we move on from it? All right, we're going to do that.
On to New England.
On to New England. On to New England.
Today's show brought to you by Maryland Vascular Specialists. Their team of surgeons is Maryland's leaders in ethical arterial procedures. We are out at Skipjack's Crab Deck in Middle River. We come back in. Tyus, we have to talk to Marlon about some of the things that he said over the years on Twitter. We're gonna. You all right? Can we address? I don't know if you've ever been
in segment number 2 of the Tyus Bowser Show. We will cover that.
We're gonna address
but
some.
You're
of
either
them.
gonna have to. There's plenty of options.
All right, we're gonna do that next.
Thank you.
You are listening to the Tyus Bowser
Show. It is
Show.
Glenn Clark Radio. That was segment number 1 of the Tyus Bowser Show, and the entire show is available for you to watch at Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. It's also, the entire show is available now in the Greatest Hits, so you can go listen to the entire show at GlennClarkRadio.com. Archives, Greatest Hits, it's right there, and we've created a blog post at the homepage at GlennClarkRadio.com, and you can find the entire show, again, watch or listen right there. But if that's too much, we'll get you segment number 2 tomorrow, segment number 3 on Friday, right here on GCR, and the entirety of the show. Again, I can't say the entirety because we're going to have to edit it. The guys were great. I mean, it just, that was really good. And, I appreciate, it was Whiskey Gene on Twitter who just said, listening now, it's really refreshing hearing the candor from Bowser and 44. And I agree. I wonder if, I don't want to say easier, I wonder if it's more digestible when it's not your fault, right? Like when you weren't the ones that were screwing up in those moments. Obviously, Tyus didn't play. Marlon was not able to be on the field in the fourth quarter. By the way, we address in segment number 2 if he's going to be on the field. So I'd encourage you to either find it or, again, stay tuned for tomorrow. But we had an incredible show. These guys were tremendous, and we had some fun, and we covered more. We ended up talking a lot about Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, and all that is coming in this episode of the Tyus Bowser Show. You don't want to miss these shows, man. They are really, really good. Next one, October 4th, at Guilford Hall Brewery. Okay, hour number 1 of today's show basically in the books. Look at how that happened. Today's show is also brought to you by the Maryland 5-Star. Catch Olympic athletes in action as the nation's best horses and riders compete in one of the world's premier equestrian events at the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, October 13th through 16th in Cecil County. When we come back in, we are going to talk more about what the Ravens are going through and the need to run the ball and the whole deal, as well as some of the other storylines and the rest of the NFL. Shaun King, former NFL quarterback, now with VSiN out in Vegas. He's going to join us next. Would You Rather Wednesday scenarios are up at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. Participate. You could win a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Experience the best in Kamado Grilling, a complete outdoor cooking appliance. The Ginsu Kamado Grill allows anyone to sear, grill, bake, and smoke all types of food. Designed for efficiency and function, the Ginsu Kamado Grill upholds the enduring legacy of the iconic Ginsu brand. The Ginsu Kamado Grill is perfect to cook all year round, is great for parties, and ideal for tailgating with your friends. Reserve your Ginsu Kamado Grill today at ginsugrills.com and get $100 off on your pre-order when you use the promo code TAILGATE. That's ginsugrills.com. Reserve yours today.
Come experience Maryland's #1 sportsbook this NFL season at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, the ultimate place for any sports enthusiast. Take advantage of our 24/7 kiosks, massive video screens, and watch all the action from the best seat in the house. With more money paid out than anyone around, make every moment more at the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
That first sip, that first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Glory Days Grill's Oktoberfest menu is now running. It's one of their most popular seasonal menus all year. It features the chicken schnitzel, the Oktoberfest brewer's platter, the brewer's sausage sandwich, the Bavarian burger with a pretzel bun, the cheddar ale soup, the slam dunk pretzels, and the apple cobbler. All of these meals pair well with Oktoberfest beers and Angry Orchard on draft. Dine in or order online at glorydaysgrill.com and pick up your favorites to take home. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
The Maryland Lottery presents Ravens' Greatest Plays. It was called the Mile High Miracle, a 70-yard touchdown pass against Denver with 30 seconds left to send the game into overtime. The Ravens eventually won, propelling them to the championship. Another great Ravens play belongs to Diane from Annapolis. Diane played Ravens Scratch-Offs and won season tickets for 20 years. You could be next. Play Ravens Scratch-Offs with instant prizes up to $100,000. And please play responsibly.
Have you been to Guilford Hall Brewery? Located in Baltimore's Station North neighborhood, Guilford Hall Brewery breaks the craft brew mold with their great handcrafted microbrews and amazing Bavarian-style food selections. Join Guilford Hall 7 days a week for Orioles, Ravens, and all of your favorite college games. Make plans now to watch the big games, play trivia, or bring your dog for Yappy Hour. They even have free valet service on Friday and Saturday nights. Go to guilfordhall.com for a complete schedule of events, beer listings, and food and drink specials. We'll see you at Guilford Hall Brewery.
Tune in to Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday at 11:40 a.m. And if you really have nothing better to do, keep listening to this show too.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Would You Rather Wednesday scenarios are up at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Get in, respond, and you are registered to win a $25 gift card to Glory Days. Don't forget that if you haven't picked up this print issue of Press Box, it's really outstanding. That's Mark Andrews right there on the cover. If you're with us on video, he's larger than life. And it's a tremendous cover story from Press Box's Bo Smolka about Mark Andrews' unlikely path to NFL stardom. It's not just diabetes. There's other elements of his story that made his path to becoming an NFL superstar unlikely. Go pick that up right now for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms and at the hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. You can read it all. PressBoxOnline.com. It's been too long since we caught up with our friend, former NFL quarterback. Now he's with our buddy Tim Murray and my pal Aaron Oster out in Vegas on VSiN. He is former NFL quarterback Shaun King, back with us on GCR. Shaun, it's Glenn back in Baltimore. Been too long, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
No problem, Glenn. How you doing this morning?
Well, we'd be better if the Ravens didn't just blow a 3-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter against the Dolphins, Shaun. It's set a weird tone for the week here in Baltimore. I've been trying to pose this very generic question. Aside from the specific problems, when you see something like that, like, is it week 2 and one game it's the NFL, goofy things happen all the time. It's not really worth reading too much into it. Literally next week could be wildly different. Or when you see, dude, a team blew a 21-point fourth quarter lead. That hasn't happened in over 700 instances in the NFL. Do you say to yourself, yeah, that might be a team with some bigger problems?
I don't think it's an isolated thing that just pertains to the Ravens. I think the game is always evolving. I think the league is always evolving. And when you look around, there are a lot of situations that were extremely similar. Cleveland up 30-17 with a minute 43, loses outright. The Raiders, I think, had a 23-7 lead in the fourth quarter. If I'm not, they lose outright. When you look around the league, it's happening. And I think what teams have to understand now is you have to finish. Like, you got to finish games, like, from a coaching standpoint and a playing standpoint, because the talent is so much better than it used to be. Everybody has dynamic athletes, and they can strike fast, they can strike quick. So you gotta stay locked in. It's a crazy correlation, but I think one of the issues that we have is we've become such an instant kind of society. Everybody wants it right now, that I think our attention span sometimes is not what it should be. And I think you see it spilling over into sports. It's hard for teams to stay mentally locked in for 4 quarters. And when you don't, it happens. You look, they had a blown coverage, Tyreek Hill, bomb, touchdown. Same thing happened in the Browns game. Blown coverage, Chris Davis, bomb, touchdown. Like, those things shouldn't happen at that level. So I think internally in all the organizations, if I'm a head coach, I'm like, hey, guys, we got to lock in. We got to finish games.
Shaun, the storyline to me is also in how the game has changed. And it's not to say that it makes it – there's no way that you can excuse those types of lapses and, just utter breakdowns in a secondary the way that we saw them from the Ravens on Sunday. But at the same time, I can't believe I'm saying this on a day where the Ravens scored 38 points, but the fact that they couldn't run the ball with anybody besides Lamar Jackson and that they've gotten a total of 79 yards from their running backs in 2 weeks, I don't know, the way the rules are set up in football any longer, I feel like defense needs a little bit more of, hey, if we get up by 3 touchdowns, we're not going to be out time of possession by 10 minutes during the course of that football game, because we're going to be able to say, no, we can go run the ball and run some clock out and not give a team that opportunity. I know it seems wrong to blame an offense, and I'm not solely blaming them, but I feel like the inability to run the football for the Ravens is just as big of a story at this point.
Yeah, complementary football is very important. I said this, I've actually clinicked on this. That's the one thing about the RPO that I don't like. It softened the game of football. Because it used to be effective run game was, we want to get a hat for a hat, and we tell the running back, listen, the unblocked guy is yours. You got to either run him over, make him miss, but we got to get positive yardage. Now, run game is all about perfection. We only hand the ball off when it's perfect for us. We got numbers and leverage. And when that's the case, a lot of teams just don't have a mindset mentality to run the ball. I think the Raiders' issue is they haven't really tried to. The running back with the most carries is Kenyon Drake, who has 17 through 2 games. That's averaging 8.5 carries a game. So maybe they're waiting on J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards to get back.
Yep.
I thought Mike Davis would have played a much more prominent role. You know, considering the success he had 2 years ago in Carolina, I thought maybe he could find that success again. But obviously, it hadn't happened. But they got to make a more concerted effort to run the ball in order to be good at it.
He is Shaun King, VSiN, out in Vegas. He's with us here on GCR. Shaun, I agree with that, and I think that you're right that hopefully the return of J.K. Dobbins. It'd be nice to have Ronnie Stanley back too. Like that's the other part of looking at where like what happened to the Ravens is, and they didn't even have Marlon Humphrey on the field in the fourth quarter for all of these breakdowns. Like I'm not trying to be dismissive of it, but the hope is that these weren't really even like truly that representative of what the Ravens are capable of being. Let me switch to Lamar for a second. Obviously the dude could not have a bigger spotlight on him. I mean, my God, he is, the lead story every day on every national show. I can only imagine how much you guys have talked about him. I know betting's your thing, but he's such a major topic. And yet he's just come out and played brilliantly through 2 games. At some point, as reluctant as any team is to give away guaranteed money, do the Ravens have to look themselves in the mirror and say, what the hell are we doing? We can't have a world in which Lamar Jackson isn't the quarterback, and if that means we got to piss off the rest of the league and give the dude all of the guaranteed money in order to get it done, we got to do that because, Jesus Christ, I mean, this is one of the most insane talents we've ever seen.
Yeah, well, a couple things. I'm a purist when it comes to this game, so I can talk anything. College, pro, high school, we can talk gambling, we can talk just X's and O's. So we don't even have to go to the wagering side because I think what I'm about to say is, an opinion that you haven't heard a lot. Is Lamar Jackson negotiating with the Baltimore Ravens or is Lamar Jackson negotiating against the National Football League?
Right.
A lot of owners are very frustrated with the fact that the Cleveland Browns gave Deshaun Watson a guaranteed contract of that size. And I think what has happened is they've gotten together and said, we can't go down this slope. To me, that's the only thing that makes sense, is that the Ravens are trying to toe the line of some unpublic known opinion that we can't go down this road of guaranteeing $200+ million contracts. To me, that's the only thing that makes sense.
Yep.
Because any logical person would look at this situation and say, oh, the Ravens have lost their mind. Like, they might not win a game without Lamar.
Yep.
And I know the Huntley thing went quasi, like, not just terrible last year, but don't get it twisted. Like, Lamar Jackson is the Ravens. They have no running game. Their best wide receiver is a kid from Minnesota who's trying to establish himself as a receiver in this league. They do have a really good tight end, but that's it for the most part from a pass catching group that has like real pedigree, real resume of stuff they've already accomplished. So have you thought about that this isn't just Lamar versus the Ravens, that this is Lamar versus the NFL?
We've been talking about it a lot, actually, Shaun. In fact, the term that I've used frequently is I think this is a seminal moment in football history that's being disguised as a contract dispute. To your point, I think that Lamar Jackson, and in fact, given that he doesn't have an agent and someone who's saying, hey, I want my cut and let's just get this done now, look at how much money you're going to get, and he's being advised by the NFLPA, I agree. I think he's fighting for more than just Lamar Jackson. I think he's fighting for non-quarterbacks and trying to break down the system and say we all deserve fully guaranteed deals. And it's a weird spot to be in because I would never be okay with the Ravens not having Lamar Jackson or trading him or something like that. It's unthinkable to me. But I also do get why they're balking at it. Like, it can't be easy, as you point out, for Steve Bisciotti to walk back into a room and have 30 other owners breathing down his neck saying, dude, we're not doing this. Like, whatever Haslam did to screw it up, we're not going with that. And in Arizona, they figured that out. And in Denver, they figured that out. And you got to figure it out, too. And him saying, all right, it's a hold the line situation, right? Like, on that side.
And think about how fortunate the Ravens are that the character of Lamar Jackson is what it is. People talk about him not having an agent. This is a character thing because the majority of professional athletes would be home right now. They would not be performing. This would be a situation where You don't want to pay me? Okay, I'm not going to perform. When you look around the league and you see what other guys are getting, and you already have won an MVP, and you know you are more important and more valuable to your organization than those guys are to theirs, most guys would hold out. They wouldn't be here. So they better be glad his character is what it is.
Shaun, if I can follow up on that, it's been something that's been discussed. If things were to go awry, if there were to be a couple of weird weeks, do you worry at all about that? Like I'm with you. Lamar's remarkable because I'm straight up. I think it's nuts that he didn't hold out. I think it's crazy that he didn't demand to use his leverage at this point. But he's an adult and he makes his decision. This is who he is, and it's an amazing testament about him as a human being. Do you worry at all that like there's a goofy week? He gets frustrated that at some point this does end up becoming an issue in season for the Baltimore Ravens?
I don't, and this is going to sound like macro from like a opinion standpoint, but Florida boys are just wired different when it comes to this game of football. It's just, it's what we do. We know one thing, and that's compete, and then everything else will take care of itself. So I don't see any situation or scenario unless he gets injured, where he decides to willingly, not participate. But I do say this. You hear what people say, but you believe what they do. How does this impact the Ravens if this goes to the end of the season?
Right. Shaun, it's
people don't forget now when these kind of situations occur. Because say what you want, what it looks like on the employee side is they don't value or appreciate me. Because I'm looking at the market. I know what the market rate is. I know what my worth, my value is. Why do you guys think that I'm not worth that?
Boy, we have I compared it, we in Baltimore we had Manny Machado with the Orioles for a little while, and I would just keep asking, the Orioles going to sign him? Like, are they going to do what we need to do in order to make this thing last? And I would have prominent, the Buster Olneys, the Tim Kirchens of the world say to me, don't worry about that, just enjoy the ride. And I'm like, dude, I enjoy a ride, but like if I go to an amusement park, I want to know that ride's not falling off the tracks at the end. Like,
now it's a different market, but the problem with Baltimore is they're in a division where you have two teams, the Yankees and Rays, who kind of, the Yankees and Red Sox, who kind of spend all the money in the world.
Yep.
And then you have this other organization, the Rays, who do it on who ball on a budget. So if you're an ownership group, you're like, let me emulate the ones that ball on a budget. They seem to be the most consistent. So I think the Orioles, in a lot of ways, are trying to reinvent the Rays kind of way of doing business, to be honest.
You might be right, but I don't like that either because I don't like the idea of all the good players ending up somewhere else.
Trust me, I'm a Rays fan. I'm from Tampa. I've seen Evan Longoria and David Price and all these guys walk out the door. Trust me, it's frustrating.
We got Adley Rutschman now. We want to make sure Adley Rutschman's around for a little while. Like, we want to experience that. But to your point, Shaun, about Lamar, like I can't help but think about it. I can't help it. Like, at some point, if you're gonna hold the line and he's gonna hold the line, they're going to end up having to talk about trading him or having to talk about how this plays out. Like, it's infuriating to think about, but, like, somebody's got to budge, and, like, neither side appears interested in doing that at this point. So,
it's interesting also because it's not like they've allocated those resources on offense. If they had went out and got a Devontae Adams or, they had traded for A.J. Brown or something, at least that makes a little sense. I mean, I don't think there's anyone else on your offense that's really getting, big bucks, is it?
Well, Ronnie Stanley is, but,
Right, offensive line, yeah.
Right.
So those guys are going to get what those guys get. But I mean,
yes, playmaker-wise, yep, you're right. There's Mark Andrews is getting some good money, but that's it. Like, that's what... they built for a defense, and so somebody would say, hey, you're not getting enough out of that right now, but obviously injuries are a big deal. Shaun, just so I can cover it before I let you go, and I really appreciate the time, man. The Ravens have never won a regular season game in Foxborough, which is weird, but it's not the same Patriots, of course, as many of those games were. And, they They did actually go up and play him a couple years ago, but it was against Cam Newton, and they lost it in the rain. That number's still sort of sitting at 3, and it's one of those weird feelings for me where I'm like, I definitely think the Ravens are better than what we saw in the fourth quarter. I think I like the Ravens to cover on the road, but that's a weird thing to say in a place where they've literally never won a game. Now doing what you do for a living, how much do you think about things like that versus just the matchup on the field?
Well, my experiences come from playing and then coaching in that league. I've learned more and more about the analytical side of this, but I always go back to my core. And me and Tim Murray and Aaron Oster have this argument all the time when we're talking about strength of schedule. I said there is no such thing as strength of schedule in the National Football League. You can tell me strength of quarterback, and there's probably 5, 6 guys where, no matter what their team does, they're going to be in it. But I was like, outside of those quarterbacks, every week is tough. If you don't bring your A game, you're going to be in a dog. Ask the Denver Broncos. Houston, after emotional tie against the Colts in week 1, flies out to Denver, altitude, Russell Wilson home opener. It's 9-6 Houston in the fourth quarter. Like, it's this league, there's the talent level across the board is so good that success and failure is separated from a very thin line. And every team is capable of beating you. Who would have thought the Bengals would be 0-2?
No doubt.
The Raiders are 0-2. The Titans are 0-2. The Colts are 0-2. Man, that's a tough league. The NFL, the one thing they have going that supersedes every other league by leaps and bounds is parity. They are literally the only professional sports league where your organization, your fan base could legitimately feel like we can go from sugar to you-know-what in one off season without getting a top 10 player. Like this in the NBA, well, if we get Kevin Durant, no, without getting any substantial future Hall of Fame kind of player. Look at Jacksonville. Right now, Jacksonville is a favorite to win the AFC South.
I mean, that is insane. Like, that's pure utter insanity. And you're probably right about that because Matt Ryan looks like a mess and the Titans look like a mess. You're still not. Can you give me anything that would give me an edge on this New England Baltimore matchup, Sean? Do you have any feeling about it?
Yeah, I still think if you look at the fact that Marcus Williams has 3 picks, great free agent acquisition. Justin Houston's getting to the quarterback. You're talking about a Patriots team that's struggling to create explosive plays. So they're kind of the antithesis of what you went up against last week, where Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and for 3 quarters, your defense was outstanding. So I would look at this and feel pretty comfortable that the Ravens defense should have a really good day, and that Lamar, and it was good to see Rashad Bateman, get a big play. It was good to see Duvernay. I think he ran a kickback, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
So
he did.
You want those younger guys that are trying to find their way to have those like confidence building moments. But I do think that they have to make more of a commitment to run the ball. Like your leading rusher having 17 carries outside Lamar, that just won't get it done.
It'd be really nice to get J.K. Dobbins back this week. He is.
And don't, before I leave, he's coming off an ACL. So my anticipation for him was he'll be better next year than this year. Generally, as a running back, it's the year after you return from those ligament injuries.
Yeah, we don't want to hear that, man. I know you're right, but we don't want to hear that here. We need him to solve all the issues. At Real Shaun King on Twitter is how you follow him. Of course, Primetime on VSiN with him and our buddy Tim Murray is where you can check him out. Sean, is there anything else we can plug for you, my dude?
That's it, man. You guys come and rock and roll with us. If you like making money, we are the show. We also are interested in those sports betting show. Yesterday we had Vincent Pastore, Big P from Soprano on.
That's cool.
We had Doug Ellen and Kevin Conley from Entourage on. So it's a sports gambling show, but we have a whole lot of fun. And listen, I got a ginger genius, a 7-foot redhead sitting next to me. I give him the business every day for 3 hours.
I love that guy, and I love my guy Aaron Oster too. Those are our friends. It's so cool that you ended up hooked up with them. Shaun King, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Great to catch up with you, bro. Thanks for doing it.
No problem.
Shaun King from VSiN, of course, former NFL quarterback. Appreciate him taking the time for us this morning on GCR. Today's program also brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines. You can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals and new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. When we come back in, for better or for worse, Drew Forrester joins us. We'll play a little Would You Rather Wednesday. That's on the way. Glenn Clark Radio. Have you been to Guilford Hall Brewery? Located in Baltimore's Station North neighborhood, Guilford Hall Brewery breaks the craft brew mold with their great handcrafted microbrews and amazing Bavarian-style food selections. Join Guilford Hall 7 days a week for Orioles, Ravens, and all of your favorite college games. Make plans now to watch the big games, play trivia, or bring your dog for Yappy Hour. They even have free valet service on Friday and Saturday nights. Go to guilfordhall.com for a complete schedule of events, beer listings, and food and drink specials. We'll see you at Guilford Hall Brewery.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
What's up, everyone? This is Tyus Bowser, and I'm excited to tell you that I'm back for Season 2 of the Tyus Bowser Show in partnership with Pressbox and Great Ace Memorabilia. Join us on Tuesday nights throughout the season as I'll be heading all over town with my special guests. And of course, our co-hosts, Glenn and Rita. Or is it Rita and Glenn? What is it? I look forward to meeting you guys and talking a little bit about football and a lot about life. And if you happen to miss the show, you can now catch a replay Friday nights on 105.7 The Fan. Get all of your details for the Tyus Bowser Show right now at PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser.
The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, October 4th at 7 p.m. at Guilford Hall Brewery, 1611 Guilford Avenue in Station North. It's brought to you by Maryland Vascular Specialists and the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill.
Come experience Maryland's #1 sportsbook this NFL season at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, the ultimate place for any sports enthusiast. Take advantage of our 24/7 kiosks, massive video screens, and watch all the action from the best seat in the house. With more money paid out than anyone around, make every moment more at the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
The 2022 baseball season is in full swing, and the future is brighter than ever for your Baltimore Orioles. I'm Paul Valley.
And I'm Zach Goodman.
And together we bring you the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon with everything you need to know about the Orioles and baseball as a whole. From veterans like Cedric Mullins, Austin Hayes, and Ryan Mountcastle,
to young stars like Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, and DL Hall.
We've got you covered for every game, every pitch,
and every debut.
You can watch us at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline and facebook.com/PressBoxSports, or you can listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. So join us live on the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon right here at PressBox Sports.
Glory Days Grill's Oktoberfest menu is now running. It's one of their most popular seasonal menus all year. It features the chicken schnitzel, the Oktoberfest brewer's platter, the brewer's sausage sandwich, the Bavarian burger with a pretzel bun, the cheddar ale soup, the slam dunk pretzels, and the apple cobbler. All of these meals pair well with Oktoberfest beers and Angry Orchard on draft. Dine in or order online at glorydaysgrill.com and pick up your favorites to take home. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
Check out Jeremy Kahn's daily picks at PressBoxOnline.com as he tries to find you daily winners. And speaking of winners, here's a man who once won a media curling contest. And I don't think anything else. He's Glenn Clark.
I always feel that to be a bit personal, and I don't much care for that. It is Glenn Clark Radio, a Wednesday edition of the program. You guys have been slow today on Would You Rather Wednesday. I know there's been a lot more going on, and we're in line with Tyus Bowser, Marlon Humphrey stuff, but I'll reset those here in a second, retweet those Would You Rather Wednesday scenarios, and we will talk about them in a minute. Giving away a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. He is Drew Forrester, drewsmorningdish.com, and he's with us now here on GCR. What's going on, pal? How we doing?
I can't even believe this trade they're talking about. But
wait, Shohei Ohtani?
It makes sense for both.
Yeah.
Makes sense for both. No. Mateo for Lamar.
Mateo for Lamar. Sure, we'll go that. Like what? Hang on a second. Wait, wait. I'm going to ask you the most honest question.
The Ravens get the defensive help they need.
Wait. I'm going to ask you the most honest question I could ever ask. Have you completely given up? Like, have you just gotten to the point where you say, I'm not even going to bother coming up with new material for it because we've been doing this for too long. It's not going anywhere. Like, have you just utterly given up?
My dog, by the way. No, I haven't. My dog went outside and just came in and looks like he's been in a swimming pool.
Wait, what's going on outside?
And I don't know I don't know where my dog got wet.
Yeah, I don't think it's raining. I'm looking out.
This worries me.
Yeah, that's not.
Knox, where have you been? All right. Anyway, I haven't given up. I just think the Orioles need offensive help, and the Ravens need defense.
Yeah,
all right, go ahead.
You and I do not agree frequently.
Okay.
We agree sometimes.
Well, sometimes that's shtick, but most of the time it's our age. We see things differently.
We couldn't agree more about the embarrassment of this Rex Ryan thing this week. This is pathetic, and this comes off, like the most generous way I could describe it is disingenuous, and just about him trying to be bombastic because he's on one of these dumb shows where that's just what they do. They try to be loud and say dumb things, and maybe he just wanted to say a dumb thing. But knowing Rex's history, it's hard for me to just think it's innocent and just disingenuous. It comes off way more as petulant. It comes off way more as childish. There's legitimately nothing genuine about it. There's no, like, he didn't break something down and say, here's an actual problem. He just got things wrong. Like, he called out Marlon Humphrey, who wasn't playing when all of this happened. He pretended like football is the same now. He thumped his chest about when he was defensive coordinator, which anyone with a brain knows defense doesn't get to be played the same way as when Rex was a defensive coordinator. And he threw in that after 2 games, Mike McDonald is terrible, which I don't even know where to begin, and it just really makes me, like, it comes off as sad. Like, I'm just sad for the fact that you still can't come to a place where you can get over or move on with your life. It is infuriating, man.
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of moving parts to it. You touched on a bunch of them. I think, and this is just the way I look at. This is the way I look at analysts and talking heads, and we've been blessed in Baltimore to have one of the best analysts in the history of any sport, and Jim Palmer.
He's phenomenal.
And Palmer has occasionally danced around the subjects that anger him. Most of them have to do with money. Mm-hmm. And he's occasionally said something like, not getting much out of a guy you're giving $30 million to. But he says it in such a way that it's not browbeating. He just sort of says it, and then he probably gets kicked under the chair, and he goes, yeah, I know, but it just drives me crazy. But he handles the analytics of the game, meaning the analysis of the game, as good as anybody. And he's not there to trash pitchers who, by the way, by and large, nearly every pitcher Palmer watches couldn't tie his shoes.
Of course.
So you talk about a tough job. He's watching guys every single game that couldn't hold a candle to him, and you never really detect that in his voice.
And by the way, and the other thing I'll say is he doesn't rip pitchers for not going 9 innings the way he would.
Right,
because he understands it's not a thing anymore. You can't compare a pitcher in 2022 to Jim Palmer because the sport is different now.
No doubt. So I bring all of that up to say that what I expect from coaches, and look, let's be honest. Anyone on the outside, and that's everyone that's not on the inside. So every single one of us who's on the outside. Now, media members can claim to be more on the inside than the normal fan because we have some degree of access. Some people have more access than others, but we're all on the outside, right? No one knows more about the Baltimore Ravens, no one, than John Harbaugh, right? He's the coach of the team. Every single thing that happens in that team, John Harbaugh is aware of, knows about, potentially could even handle. So we're all on the outside compared to him.
And just to be fair, it doesn't mean that he's going to get everything right. But
No.
Right,
It's just nothing to do with right or wrong.
Right,
I'm just
I
saying,
agree with you, yes.
From the standpoint of what we know, it really is what we think we know, because we don't know anything, because we're not there. And I would always say this when people, and you and I were on the air, people would call in and scream and yell, and I'd be like, have you been to one of the practices? Well, no. Okay. So you have no idea what you're talking about. You think you know, and that's okay. Keep calling, but you think you know. You don't actually know. So I say all of that to set up to say that when we bring these coaches on the air, we're expecting an incredibly high standard from them, because they are the only ones who really know what's going on. So when you bring Bill Cowher onto that set, or you bring Tony Dungy onto that set on Sunday, you're expecting something from them that you can't get anywhere else. You're expecting that from them. Mm-hmm. So when you bring Rex Ryan on, and you say to Rex, we're bringing you on, you're an ex-coach, and we need some analysis from you. What I want, and what I think the coach's job to do on the air is to tell me what's going on from the eye of the coach. Tell me what's going on. I don't need you to tell me Mike McDonald sucks. There's 52 podcasts going on in town that'll tell me that. I don't need you to tell me that Armour Davis is terrible. Every Twitter account tells me that. What I needed Rex to say on Sunday or Monday was, hey, hold the phone a sec. Let me tell you, I know you're mad in Baltimore. I know you're disappointed. You should be. You were up 28-7 and 35-14. You lost. I know you're mad. I know you're outraged. But let me just explain something to you. And let me tell you how this works. The absence of Peters and Humphrey, and Peters was playing, but clearly not 100%.
Right.
And Humphrey was in and out the last 20 minutes of the game with this groin strain. The absence of those two guys changed the entire tenor of the fourth quarter. And here's why. Because now they got to put Pepe Williams into this spot, and now they got to move this guy into this spot. And, oh, by the way, they didn't have Brandon Stevens either. And they would love to have had Brandon Stevens in there, but they couldn't put him in there because he wasn't available. So now they're down to these two guys. They're trying to play a cover two with two guys hobbled, two other guys who are literally in the January of their professional career, going up against maybe the best wide receiver in football, or, one of the top three in football.
Well, I think at this point probably the best wide receiver duo in football for sure.
Okay. So then you add that on, and you say so. Let me just tell you. Let me tell you guys. You. I know you're mad, but I also want to point out to you they don't have any edge rushers. They're trying to cobble something together without any real bona fide edge rushers. They can't put much pressure on this kid. He's slinging it all over the place, and they're really banged up in the back. And they're just trying to patch it up long enough to win 38-35. That's all they're doing.
Well, and they can't run the ball in order to run clock. They also can't gobble up time.
By the way, everyone.
Right.
By the way, they scored 35 points. 21 of them came in 20 seconds of the game. Literally. They ran a kickback.
Yep, and
they ran a ball 80 yards. And they threw a ball 75 yards.
Yep.
That's how they scored 21 of the 35 points. The defense was on the field for 35 minutes of the game. That's what Rex should have been saying.
And by the way,
because when you're the coach, and you go back to Owings Mills, and I wrote about this yesterday or Monday, when you're the coaches, the players all leave, and they tweet out how disappointed they are, and we'll get them next week, and what a bummer, and we love you. And then they go out to wherever it is that they go out, and they have their seafood and their booze, and they blow off the steam that they have to blow off because it's part and parcel of playing at a high level like that. The coaches, meanwhile, kiss their wives and their girlfriends at the gate, and they go back to Owings Mills. And this is what the coaches say. The coaches sit around and they say, how the hell did that happen? And John says, well, look, let's call it like it is. We'd never say this to the media because we can't, but let's call it like it is. We were lucky we didn't lose 52-35.
Sure.
So that's what I needed Rex to say, because that's the coach's view. And when I heard him say that on Monday, I was like you. Obviously, I wrote about it yesterday, and I was very critical of him. I was like apoplectic. I don't need you to come on and tell me that Mike Macdonald sucks. Because if you were the head coach, it's not what you would be saying.
Well, okay. So
you would never say in his second game, this hotshot McDonald guy I hired sucks.
Right.
It's not what you would say.
Right.
Now, you might say that if you were just a regular Johnny-come-lately color analyst, and I'm not picking on I don't even know who I'm talking about here. I'm not picking on James Lofton, but that's the kind of thing that the next player might say. Because they're players.
Okay, but
you don't say that if you're Rex Ryan.
I also understand, and I'm not trying to give a pass in any way. I understand they're going to tell him you have to say something more inflammatory. You're on what is the dumb show that he's on ESPN where that's what they do.
I don't even know.
Right,
Get Up.
Get Up. Thank you. I'm sorry. I have to admit, I don't watch that show, but I know enough from social media to know that this is what they do. The point of this show is we just want to be loud. We just want to say things that we can put out on Twitter and we'll get people to retweet them. I understand that. But the elements of this come off far more personal than just, I'm trying to be loud. Because to your point, would that be the better analysis? Of course, that's the better analysis. But they don't do that on this show. They don't actually try to break things down. To go to the extent that he went comes off the chest thumping about what this is what I used to do, the saying someone sucks after 2 games, which is like maybe you could say that about Nathaniel Hackett because I think there's a real argument that Nathaniel Hackett might suck, but it has to be that extraordinary. I don't know if he remembers what happened in the first game of the season. Mike Macdonald's had 1 bad game as a coordinator in his life. To say he sucks as a coordinator is absurd. It comes off like Rex can't get over it. He can't move on from... We all remember what happened when he came back for the anniversary of the first Super Bowl. We all know Rex isn't okay with the fact that he didn't get to be the head coach of the Ravens, and maybe never will be. But that's not me saying something. It's fact. It's in the public record that we know that. Maybe there's something related to his brother not being back on the staff after last year. I don't know. Maybe Rex in his mind believed that Rob would get to be the next defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens, and when they hired the young guy instead, it pissed him off, and he was just waiting for this moment. But nothing about it was legitimate in any way, and even in the context of doing a loudmouth show and a show in which we want you to say stupid things, it still comes off as personal and small and petty and embarrassing.
No doubt. It was awful. I mean, I just can't, I couldn't get over how awful it was of him. And again, you always use these words, right? In the context of it, if this is week 14, if this is week 14 and the Ravens have somehow dipped to, 6-8 on the year, and they've just done this, they've just had this fiasco at home, and this is the, 5th time that they've given up 3 touchdowns or more in the fourth quarter of a game this year, and you want to then say, this guy's in way over his head. You know what I mean? Like if after 14 games, you have some sort of an assessment to make like that has a little bit of substance to it, you might be able to get away with that. Maybe. Because now you've at least got some data to say, hey, look, guys, we got to call this like it is. This ain't getting any better. And this guy's had a lot of opportunities to get this better, and he hasn't done it. You've got a lot of context there.
There would still be the thumping about his defense would still be pathetic. I mean, it would still be like
sure.
But still, yes. At least the
I
part.
I was really surprised, and I just can't stress enough how much this whole thing went or goes against the code of what coaches do. Coaches don't go on the air and trash. Almost said the other word. Coaches don't go on the air and trash other coaches.
Right.
It's just not what you do. And if you can't sign up for that code, then I don't know that you should be broadcasting, because this is not what you do.
But
this is not the way you get your analysis across. To me,
what I would say is, if somebody really deserves to be called out for that, I don't care what the code is, right? Like don't hide from the truth. Like if today in Denver somebody's like, well, I'm not really going to say anything negative about Nathaniel Hackett, like, I would say then you probably don't. Why are you doing this? Why did you get into this business if you can't call someone out? But you have to be fair in the way that you do it. You have to be reasonable in the way you do it.
You can't just There's got to be some balance. That's why I used the thing about the 14 games.
And by the way, I'll follow up. This is interesting. I can tell you that there were multiple coaches that we asked to come on this program this week that didn't want to do it, and I guarantee it's for the exact thing that you're talking about, because they don't want to be the ones ripping another coach.
Sure.
Yep.
I mean, it's just part. I mean, you hear this all the time, right? The 8-1 team is playing the 1-8 team, and they beat them 38-6, and the coach comes in and goes, "Let me just say this first of all.
Yeah.
We just beat a really good team over there, a very, very well coached team. I want to say that right from the start." Right. And the rest of us watching it are like, "Dude, who are you kidding?"
Yep.
But that's the code and the honor that they have, all totally based on the fact that all of those coaches know exactly how hard it is to do that job. Now, they get 5, 10, 12 million, 15 million for doing it. They're big boys. They can handle it. I get it. But only the coaches know how much work gets put in. They're the only ones that know. No one knows but them. So I thought it was awful.
Drew Forrester, drewsmorningdish.com, with us here on GCR. For you, are you closer to it's one game in week 2 of a league that is insane? I mean, that is just utterly, why does anyone bet on this league? We don't know anything about what might happen from week to week. And overreacting to any of this is stupid. What are we doing? They still have most of their players hurt at this point. Like, are you closer to that, or are you closer to, no, they just blew a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter of a football game. I don't care what the circumstances are. That doesn't happen. There are real problems here.
I think it's more the first scenario. I think they could go to New England this week and they could win 17-13. I think the league is crazy. It's totally a league of matchups for sure. Miami did a really nice job of exposing, some of those, especially later on in the day when the Ravens started to run out of gas a little bit, and the Dolphins were just starting to hit their stride. I wouldn't overreact from it. Obviously, they need some healthy players back. They're very, very lean, both at rushing the quarterback and in the secondary. But I think, just like I don't know that you're going to get that kind of virtuoso performance from Lamar every single week, you're not going to have that kind of defensive meltdown every single week either. So if you made me lean one way or the other, I would lean more towards it's a one-game thing. It just started to snowball. They didn't really know how to navigate it, which you can't blame them because most of those players had never been involved in anything like that before. And I think, they'll be okay. But they got to get some healthy players back for sure. And, these next 2 games are going to give you ask me that question again in 2 weeks. And because these next 2 games are pretty big games for them. I mean, if they go up there this Sunday and they get beat, 23-15 or whatever, and then Buffalo beats them 31-10, then ask me that question.
Oh,
again,
yeah, Katie bar the door.
right?
I mean, there's no doubt, right?
Right.
Like, it becomes a real problem.
Yeah, so it's I don't expect to see them go up there and play poorly again in New England like they did this week, but I also know they could go up there and play decently and lose. And then you got Buffalo coming in, and I think we all know what they're capable of doing. And, they could be 1-3. And I think I guess the real proof is going to be if they do wind up being 1-3, the question is, how are they 1-3? Right?
Yep. Did they? I mean, correct. Is it?
Yeah, it's one thing if they lose 23-20 and 24-17, and they scrap and fight and they drop a pass late in the game, or Buffalo gets a favorable call. It's another thing if they lose, 17-6 because New England's defense is good and shuts them down, and then they lose 31-10. That's a different story.
All right, let's play Would You Rather Wednesday really quick. Would You Rather Wednesday is brought to you by Glory Days Grill, where the Oktoberfest menu is available, and it is insane. The Bavarian burger with the pretzel bun, the cheddar ale soup, the slam dunk pretzels, the chicken schnitzel, the brewer's sausage platter, the brewer's sausage sandwich. It's all amazing. GloryDaysGrill.com is the website. Get your order in right now. Would you rather Wednesday, number 1, would you rather the Ravens' run game is fixed and functions at a high level for the rest of the season, but the pass rush continues to be an issue all year long, or the pass rush strengthens, but the run game doesn't and continues to be a problem all year?
I feel like they've got to get some help defensively with the rush. I think they could cobble something together if they're only going to be able to run for 60 or 70 yards a game. I still think they can beat people like that. I don't think they can beat anybody over the long haul if they can't put some pressure on the quarterback.
All right. Well, I'll bring it up in a second. I might move around number 2 for you because I forgot about something, and it's better for you. Number 2, would you rather, for whatever reason, now we got to go back a long ways, obviously, for you because you've been married for quite some time, but the most embarrassing attempt you ever made at picking up a woman is on video, was filmed, and ends up getting out on the internet and makes it go viral. And now everyone can see it. The question on the one that I posted is, or would you rather a risque but not naked photo of you ends up being sent to everyone in your phone contacts?
Shoot. Well, with my body, I'd probably say just send a photo.
Right, because right? Like everybody's gonna say, "Wow, look at that guy! Like he's looking good." I'm gonna change the question for you. All right. Would you rather that video, the most embarrassing attempt you ever made at picking up a woman, is out there, or your Bryson DeChambeau running into the rope and that video is out there and goes viral today?
I don't know. I may have to take the girl pickup.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad one.
Bryson went down like he was shot.
Correct.
And he looked like Lincoln at Ford's Theater, grabbing his head.
And by the way, he needed a towel to wipe off what exactly? Like, what in the hell?
He snatched the way, I don't know, my dog's barking at something. Somebody may be breaking into my house.
All right. Well, tell him I said hi.
The way he snatched the towel.
Like it was the other guy's fault. Like, it was the other guy.
As if he were saying, I'm going to get blood all over this shirt Bridgestone just sent me. I mean, it was hilarious.
I should have made that number 2. I screwed that up. All right. And number 3, would you rather the Orioles give up a package? Grayson Rodriguez, Jackson Holliday, Colton Cowser, land Shohei Ohtani, and sign him long term. Or Or as exciting as that sounds, it's still not the right way for them to go about their business.
I 100% would go get Ohtani, and you can give up whatever you want to give up, within reason. In other words, we're not giving up Rutschman or Henderson, but if you need to give up Grayson Rodriguez and somebody else we've never heard of or seen yet.
We've heard of Jackson Holiday for sure. He was the number 1 pick in the draft this year.
I have no idea what he's going to do. So I'd be happy to give those guys up to get Ohtani.
All right, very good. What's coming up at drewsmorningdish.com?
We just write about sports and the Ravens and
Since when?
How much this defensive coordinator is terrible.
Yeah, he's terrible. He's terrible. He's had one bad game in his life. He's a terrible defensive coordinator. That's the way it works.
Hire somebody.
All right, buddy. At It's a Hooded 4 on Twitter. We'll talk to you next week. That's Drew Forrester, drewsmorningdish.com. All right, would you rather run game or pass rush?
Mm-hmm. What was the full question again?
Would you rather the run game is fixed? Hey, Colson.
Run game.
Nope,
run
save
game.
it. Save it. Colson, come here. Sit down on that chair.
Wow.
Pull up John Colson. I got to deal with something with this guy. Slide that microphone closer to you.
Nice shoes.
They are, really. Well, I'm not wearing them today. No. I couldn't wear
them in?
No. Lord, no. These are...
You didn't bring them in to show everybody?
I showed it. I want people to watch the video of the Tyus Bowser Show.
So just show them one shoe and tell them the other one's on the video.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. I'll wear them out. If you want to see me in the Panda Dunks, you can come out to the Tyus Bowser Show.
They're so cool.
Tuesday.
I saw them.
I thought he was going to cry.
Dude. I mean, okay. Y'all can make fun of me all you want.
No! That's not making fun of you.
It's one of the most... If my wife gets me a nice gift...
That's expected.
And I mean this with all due respect, she's not a great gift giver.
My ex-wife is
not a great
wonderful woman. Not
I
a
don't
great
know if
gift
I'm a
giver.
great gift giver either because
I'm a great gift giver.
I'm more of an experienced person.
All right, I can't wait for my first.
My
gift
thing
then,
is all. My thing is experiences. Like I want to go have a weekend with you. That's what I want to do, and so that's my typical gift giving style with my wife is let's go to a bed and breakfast for a weekend. Let's go to New Orleans. I would like to get away with you and spend time with you and maybe that's more of a reflection of me. She does like gaudy jewelry and things like that, so I get her stuff. But I'm an experienced person. That's
you
what
refer to it as gaudy jewelry, not
stupid.
like the jewelry
It's
she
stupid.
likes.
It's so stupid. So stupid. So but if I get a nice
what's
gift
your
from,
issue here? What do you?
I get there.
Okay.
Settle down. If I get a nice gift from my wife, like okay, it's my wife. There's no reason for Tyus Bowser to be giving me a gift.
Exactly.
At all.
And that's why I understand your excitement about it. I
There's
wasn't
no
teasing you about
world
that.
where he needs to be doing something like that. He's coming out and doing shows with us, and he's being great. And is the nicest person that I've ever
and
come
he's bringing
across.
Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah, bringing out Justin Houston and Marlon Humphrey so far this season.
Yep.
How's that for guests, by the way? Jesus. So he owes me nothing at all. The fact that he would do that was so genuinely touching that I don't know how to explain it. The shoes themselves, they're very cool. But it's the thought and the fact that he would literally, not only did he remember that he said it on that show, he remembered what my shoe size was. Because he asked me during the show, hey, what's your shoe size? And I said, he didn't write it down somewhere. He just remembered what my size was.
There's
after
a
I
little
told him
more to that story.
Oh, is there? Did you text somebody?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, I didn't.
No, but the point holds true. He took the time to
unbelievable.
figure it out.
It's unbelievable. Went to a store and I'm blown away by what Tyus Bowser did. Now, that might not be the most incredible thing that I learned last night, though.
Uh-oh.
I never got an answer from you about something.
What was it?
You didn't hear it during segment number 1 of the show today, but during the show, we ultimately got to a part where we ended up talking about famous phone numbers. We ultimately got to a portion of the show, and I don't even remember how we got there, because this came up one time last year during the Tyus Bowser Show, but something came up where, he was talking about Nick Saban. Marlon Humphrey was talking about Nick Saban, and you'll get to this point of the show. Nick Saban does not have Nick Saban's phone number.
Do you want me to get my phone to show you?
I would like for you to do that.
John has Nick Saban's phone number?
No. Marlon Humphrey does not have Nick Saban's phone number.
Gotcha. Nick
Saban has called Marlon Humphrey, but not from his phone. It's the president is calling you. If you get a phone call from Nick Saban, Marlon Humphrey explains that his secretary or whoever it is, his assistant, gets on a phone, calls you and says, hold for Nick Saban.
Right.
And then patches him through. And he said, I don't have the man's number. I don't, guy was his college coach. I don't know how many dudes don't have their college coach's phone number. But Marlon Humphrey does not have.
I'm guessing Nick Saban has a flip phone that he dials his grandkids and wife with.
Maybe.
And that
and
every
that's
business
it,
call
right.
comes through a landline.
Correct.
That is then connected
or
to
someone
him.
else's cell phone.
Yeah.
Or right. That's
you get my point.
Correct. So I said, well, who is the most famous number that you have in your phone? And then, both he and Tyus were like, I guess Lamar, right? And that makes sense. Lamar is legitimately TMZ levels of famous at this point. And then we ultimately, I don't want to completely give it away, but we ultimately find out that there's a rapper that is stored in Marlon Humphrey's phone. He's got that phone number, and so it's a pretty big one. It's a significant one. But I'll let you find out who that is when you hear segment number, I think it was number 2. It was either number 2 or number 3. Whatever, maybe it was 3. Segment number 3 of the Tyus Bowser Show. We'll air it on Friday. It'll air on 105.7 The Fan on Friday night, or you can go watch and listen right now if you don't want to wait that long.
Right.
The show is available. So we're doing the segment, and after the segment's over, John Colson walks up to me and says, I've got him beat.
No, I said I've got everybody beat.
He did say, I've got everybody beat.
Yeah.
I've got everybody beat.
I do.
I said, you've got someone more famous than Lamar Jackson in your phone?
I do.
You got someone more famous than, I don't know, this famous rapper that everybody knows in your phone?
I do.
I said, I don't know if I believe that. John pulls up the phone and shows me a name that's in his phone. And I, at first,
Paul Hewson.
I said, do I know who I don't know.
Google Paul Hewson.
Who's
Paul? H-E-W-S-O-N.
Paul, H-E-W-S-O-N. I'm like, no, you know what? As it turns out, I don't know who Paul Hewson is. Tell me who Paul Hewson is.
Let's see.
Griffin's.
Did I spell it right?
H-E-W.
Oh, H-E-W.
H-E-W.
He did find Paul Hewson.
Yeah, Howson or something.
H-E-W-S-O-N.
Wow.
Yeah.
that is who Paul Hewson is?
Legitimately more famous
than
Lamar Jackson or this particular rapper.
Should we even say who it is or just let everybody Google it?
H-E-W-S-O-N. People might be driving or something. I don't know. It's Bono.
It's Bono.
John Colson. Now, wait.
Yeah.
There's a couple questions here. Do we know how long ago?
It was I told you this last night. It could be many, many iterations ago.
It's not.
It's a U.S. number.
Okay.
It's a U.S. number. It's not a foreign number.
Mm-hmm.
And a very close friend of mine produced.
I think I can do this math. Is it someone that is? Is it? I'm going to write a name down. I think I know who it is. Is it that person that got you there?
No.
Oh, really?
No. A friend of mine is a.
They were
a Hollywood
John
director
in particular was very involved.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And my friend was actually involved with the tour with the Bug Eyes. I can't remember what.
Oh
it was
God,
called.
which one was that one? Oh my
and
God,
it had video screens behind it, a huge set of video screens behind it, and words flashing up. My friend designed that whole thing.
Was that the Fly tour?
It was
that one?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
the Fly.
But my friend designed all the video for the Fly tour.
That's so cool.
And he also wrote and directed a couple pretty big movies in Hollywood. Arlington Road. Have you ever seen Arlington Road?
I'm familiar with
He
Arlington.
wrote
Did they
and
film?
He wrote and
Didn't
directed.
they film Arlington Road around here?
No. Well, in D.C.
Yeah, right.
And they probably did parts of it here.
I think they did part of it in Baltimore, actually.
Anyway, I went to the concert and got to meet them, and it was kind of a joke, and I got the phone number, and I don't know. I've never called it, honestly. I put it in there, and I texted. I don't even know for sure if it's him that texted me back, but I'm never letting go of the phone number.
I don't blame you for that whatsoever. Yeah. I don't blame you.
Nor am I ever calling it. I just want to be clear.
Right, correct. Okay, so 2 stories. One, I told
it goes
you,
from there all the way down to Ray Lewis. There's nobody in between.
For years, the most famous number in my phone, and I finally deleted it at one point, was Bill Cosby.
Yeah,
this is straight shoot.
Wow.
This is straight shoot. It's a long story, but when I first moved into afternoons on 1570, the first week of the show, I wanted to go all out, right? And Bill Cosby was playing at Pier 6. And I said to Ryan Chell, who was my producer at the time, let's take a run at it, right? Like, I know people at Pier 6, and let's just see if they can help us. And not only did they help us, and again, this is before, I want to make this abundantly clear, not before any of these things happened, but before they became prominent, like before it became known, these things that Bill Cosby had done, and he was America's sweetheart. He was America's father in a lot of ways. He did an hour with me.
Oh my gosh.
And goosebumps. I mean, like at the time, again, this is an icon. This is
Cosby Show.
And told Ryan afterwards that he had so much fun doing it that we could have his cell phone number and he would come on whenever we wanted. And he came back. There was a lesser candidate for mayor, and somebody that you wouldn't remember.
Right.
And he, for whatever reason, came back to do an event for that candidate for mayor, and we were like, well, let's see. And I had Ryan call him, and sure enough, Bill Cosby came back on.
Hello there.
Whatever it was, 3 months later or something like that.
Voice.
And did another 30 minutes, and
Wow.
it was unbelievable. Of course, obviously.
Yeah.
It was in my sizzle reel, like when I was.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Like, it was all of those things. So that one was my one. That was my one, like, genuinely iconic, famous phone number that I had in my phone. And now, I don't think I have anybody that's that. I don't think I have anybody that's super famous that way. That's in my phone.
Well, you had a lot more interaction with him than I did
with Bono.
with Bono.
Yeah, well, that one blew me away, dog. That one was.
I'm never getting rid of it. As a matter of fact, I have it written down at home in case something happens to my cell phone, so I can put it back in.
You should get it tattooed or something.
That one was wild, man. That one was wild. Also, I had. So I think a lot of people know that I had a lot of interactions with Joe Flacco over the years, and the first year, Joe's rookie season, I had to do 2 things a week with Joe that required me to reach out to him. And I don't know. I was 23 at the time. 25. Sorry, I was 25 at the time. I was out one night, drunk in College Park, and one of my buddies from college got my phone and called Joe Flacco. Man. Now, thankfully, Joe's a good guy because apparently he actually picked up the phone, and my drunk buddy, who was an Eagles fan, I don't know who they were playing that week, was like, "Hey, go beat the," and then just hung up. Like, that's how the call went. Joe saw me on Sunday after the game.
So what was that?
And the nicest way he possibly could, was just like, "Hey, man, got a funny call from you the other night." And I said, "What?" And I mean, like, my face went white because I definitely didn't call Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, when I called you about doing the thing, he was like, "Nope." I'm like, and he let me know, and I was like, "Dude, I am so sorry." He's like, "It's fine. It wasn't nothing bad. It was fine." It's like, maybe don't give your phone around at parties or something. Like, yeah, I'll try not to do that, pal. I will try to avoid letting my phone get passed around at parties. That's the only one that I know of to this day that was ever an issue for me. Here, you can play Would You Rather Wednesday, presented by Glory Days Grill since you're here. We were just talking about, number one is, would you rather the run game gets fixed, but the edge rush continues to be a problem all year long, or the edge rush gets fixed, pass rush gets fixed, but the run game continues to be a problem all year long?
I would say I want the edge rush fixed.
Okay.
Because I do think the running game will get a little bit better over time, but
I'm saying it's going to be a problem. You don't get it's going to be a problem.
But the real reason is we're having no problem putting up points.
Mm-hmm.
So even with the run game bad, I would prefer the edge rush get fixed, because if that were the case in this past game, we would have won.
I actually think the other thing is, if that were the case, we would have won.
You could certainly argue that if we had gotten those 1-yard runs, we would have won. But you shouldn't need more than 30 points to win.
Well, that's sort of both things are true, right? Like,
and we got the 30 points.
I understand that, but like, this is the NFL. And to me, the answer, and the reason why I agree with Griffin on this one, is this is the way the NFL works now. Good offense will always beat good defense. Like that, the NFL wants it that way.
Right.
They changed the rules.
Good point.
So because of the rules of the NFL, my answer is always going to be, well, I'd rather just have you have a totally functional offense and hopefully the secondary
and let the
holds up
defense
during-
come as it will.
Correct, because ultimately you can always get the ball
point.
back to go try.
They won 14 games doing that 3 years ago.
Well, but we think the defense was. We thought their edge rush was better than
Right,
it is now, right? Like I'm not trying to say they had a crap defense. We think they had a really good defense too. But the point being, offense to me is always the answer in the NFL.
I get you.
In 2022.
I get you.
Number 2. So I'm considering morphing this because I forgot about something. But number 2, would you rather? Are you familiar with the Adam Levine story?
He was having an affair, right?
So Adam Levine from Maroon 5,
Right.
was allegedly having an affair with an Instagram model when he's married to a Victoria's Secret model.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
right? Now, maybe might have been carrying on multiple affairs because
Okay.
other women have come forward with their own Adam Levine sexts, and they are so embarrassing.
Oh, God, I love that.
They just make him look
And you
like...
can read the real. I mean,
they're all over the internet right now. Like, they just make him look... And they're mostly Instagram messages. They all make him look like he's 16 years old. Like they're all, now, he alleges it was only sexting. He never actually had an affair with any of these women, but I don't know, bro. Like, these are... It is truly unreal how effing hot you are. Like, it blows my mind.
Oh, my God.
You are 50 times hotter in person, and so am I, he said.
and so am I.
So cringy. I may need to see the booty. F with a lot of K's at the end. Like, that's the type of stuff. And now it's out there, and the internet is killing him.
I may need to see the booty.
I may need to see the booty.
And for those watching, I am also 50 times better looking in person.
That's right. That's a good point. That's a good point. The cameras don't really do it justice. So my question was, also you, of course, know that I recently took some risque photos.
I do.
So
again, one of the most disturbing
Yeah, John was
moments of my
here.
life.
He walked through. Griffin was here.
I was here.
as
I was
the
trying not
photo
to
shoot-
look.
The photo shoot was going on. It's you're gonna see it. The Boys of Hamden, boysofhamden.com to pre-order your calendar right now, benefiting the Hamden Family Center. And if you don't order yours, I'm gonna order one for you. You're gonna have a Boys of Hamden calendar. They're asking for more, Glenn. They want me to do the cover shoot too.
Do they really?
They really do.
Wow.
They really do. Oh God, why would you? Why? I was there, Stan. Or sorry, John. I don't need to see it again.
Can't see it, people, but
I don't need to see it again. It got worse, by the way.
Really?
Yes. It got...
Were you guys like...
Can I say something about Stan the
Were you like
fan?
sitting on Stan's lap?
Can I say something about Stan?
Yeah.
He is...
Oh, I love Stan.
Oh, I do too.
God bless him for
Hold on,
going
man.
for it.
He is incredibly comfortable naked.
Oh, yeah. I've known that. When I first started working here, he all said, let's go to the baseball meetings. We'll go have a week.
Oh, no, I forgot about that.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I don't even think I was technically an employee.
He's very comfortable in his own skin.
Yes, he is. Anyway, so the original question was, would you rather your most embarrassing pickup attempt with a woman was videoed, or your most embarrassing sequence of text messages was recorded and goes viral today?
Oh, without a doubt.
Or
okay,
a risque but not fully naked photo of yourself is sent to everyone in your phone, including Bono, of course.
Well, the third one's kind of happened to me before.
No, there's two options there. There's two.
Oh.
One is it's whatever's most embarrassing. Either the most embarrassing pickup attempt at a bar was filmed, or it's your most embarrassing, whatever it is, the most embarrassing involving sexting, pickup attempt, whatever it is, the most embarrassing thing you've ever done.
I would prefer the bar video.
You would prefer that goes viral?
Yes.
Because
I'm sure that other things could embarrass me more.
It's not fully naked, I said, though.
I'm just telling
I'm
you.
about to pose for a calendar, so obviously I don't care if people see me in
But you were talking about text.
Speedo. Right, but I'm saying whatever's the most embarrassing.
Yeah, I get it.
People are really struggling with this.
Yeah, because you're not explaining it well.
Oh, no, I don't think it's that hard. You're saying, what is the most embarrassing what do you not want?
I think
you don't want your sex getting out there.
Please, I'm a mature man.
I understand that, but you're a single man again. Well, I don't know. You're in a relationship now, right? Like, but you're not married any longer.
This is accurate,
right? Your sexts would get out there.
You're implying that there are sex.
Well, I don't know how you live your life, John Colson. You're the one answering the question. I'm saying I would rather, if the choice was my most embarrassing sex or my most embarrassing pickup attempt versus, that's all in one category.
Oh, okay.
That's all one bucket.
Gotcha.
That's the bucket over here.
Gotcha.
In the other bucket, a risque photo goes out.
I got it, Glenn, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll take the risque photo. To go out.
Yes. That's
no problem.
I am in agreement with that.
And that's kind of happened.
I'm in it. Yeah,
no, it's
not at everybody on my phone list, but
I'm telling you, it's kind of happened to me.
Okay, to everybody on your phone list.
No, but enough.
That's
peop-
a big.
enough
It's a bit
important
different.
people. Yeah, it is.
It's a bit different
because then,
when
like
it's-
you and he. Would
Yes,
get it.
correct.
But I
whole
still
thing.
I would still prefer.
Yeah,
that.
right. Leah would. I mean, like everybody
I'd
on the
still
phone
prefer
list.
that.
I think I would as well, Griffin.
I'm not sure. I'm like when John said right away the embarrassing video or sex or whatever, I was thinking maybe just because viral at this point is such a I don't know.
You're saying it goes away.
Yeah,
After,
yeah,
like,
it goes
yeah,
away.
It's embarrassing
and
for
and it's
a couple
potential. Not
moments.
everyone in my contacts would even see that anyway. And
Okay.
yeah,
I don't know.
But yeah, I
By
think
the time we were done,
like,
they would.
Yes. All right.
But I think you're right. I think a photo is probably.
What if I
a lot
changed
more.
it because I forgot about this and I definitely wanted to include it? What if I changed it, and it's either your most embarrassing, again, sext or attempt to pick up a woman goes out, or have you seen the Bryson DeChambeau video?
Yes.
You're Bryson DeChambeau, and that video now ends up everywhere on the internet.
I'm gonna go with A this time. Not
Yeah,
B.
you're going to go with the sext at this point. That is one of the most embarrassing things that I have ever seen happen to a human being. I have never. The man thought he got shot. So good. All right, and number 3, would you rather the Orioles give up a huge price? Jackson Holliday, Grayson Rodriguez, Colton Cowser, the featured part of the trade, in order to get Shohei Ohtani, who they then extend the long term, or no, that's still not the best way for them to go about doing their business.
I guess I can't choose both. I would love to have Ohtani here just because that would be fun as
Yes,
can
it would be amazing.
So I'd probably lean that way because I'm only
You
a
make the trade.
moderate baseball
Okay,
fan.
fair enough.
So to
Griffin?
me, that would be really fun.
I'm going to take Ohtani too.
All right, it's a big price.
Yeah, it is a big price.
Big price.
I mean,
Big price. I
but,
get it.
Big
But yeah, I
price.
liked what Drew was saying too. I mean, these guys are unproven. I mean, they should be surefire locks.
I had it. I mean, these are legitimate guys. That we're talking. These are all first-round picks.
Yep.
These are all.
You never know. Ohtani is going to come here and immediately be. I mean, he's going to. We know how to. We can tell this team knows how to win better than the Angels do already. So I think it'll be a win-win-win. And we should do
By the
what
way,
we can. I'd be very excited. To have him
among the responses, Proctor, Ohtani is a generational talent. I'd be more inclined to make this trade than any of the other bonkers trades that you've proposed on Would You Rather Wednesday. Well, that doesn't. What does that say exactly? What do you? I don't. I feel like
It would be so much fun to have Ohtani here,
dude. However,
it would.
Most of the other response. By the way, we're still thin. I don't know what's going on today. It's been a very thin day for Would You Rather Wednesday. I think we flooded unfortunately, the timeline with Tyus Bowser and Marlon Humphrey content. And so
it was a great night.
It was a wonderful night. I mean, it really was a wonderful night. But it unfortunately has taken away from our Would You Rather Wednesday content, which is a bummer. But somebody's still going to win. A lot more no's. A lot more.
Really?
Like Chris said, if you add Trout to that, we can talk. Like, there's been a lot more on that way as far as the no's are concerned.
Good for the Oriole fans thinking, knowing
They
that
believe in
Grayson
their guys,
and,
I guess.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. Yeah, what a night we had, man. Just a really, really cool. I said after Marlon had such a good time. He came up, he sought me out after the show and said, "Hey, man, thank you."
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like,
and he had to drive
all the way.
Oh my God!
Well, he's downtown, so he lives downtown, as we learned.
Yeah, it
he's
was
not,
still much
it's not
longer than
Owings
he thought it
Mills.
was
Yeah.
going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way further than.
Yeah, he's a downtown guy. I know.
But my God, man, he was phenomenal, and. They talked about everything from Sunday. And as I said earlier, I think it was easier for them because neither one of them
really play.
was responsible for it. Like, I think that makes it a bit easier.
I mean, obviously Marlon played, but he wasn't there
not
for
in the
last
fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Not when the S hit the fan.
One freaking play.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So I think that made it a little bit easier for him, but they talked about it. Like
I was sitting in a bar in Cincinnati, surrounded by Cincinnati fans watching that game.
Yeah, well, they were probably running their mouth, and then look at how things turned out for them. Look at how their day went.
Yeah.
We just had an incredible night. We've had 2 really great shows to start the season. Marlon Humphrey stayed and took pictures with and signed autographs for everyone that came out to Skipjack's Crab Deck last night.
And I think I know who's going to be at the next one. I can't say, but let me just say it's a big Raven.
You want to write a name down for me? You want to write a name down, and I won't say anything. That would be a very significant one. No question about that. That would be very, very significant. And I do remember that being someone who was on the list.
Yeah.
That was in the plans. Well, that would be very cool. That would be very cool.
Be a big win.
Be a very big win. I like that. All right, John Colson. Anything else I can plug for you?
Well, the shows, obviously, which you've done
come out October 4th at Guilford Hall Brewery. That's our
big
next
thing.
one.
And my buddies at Ginsu, I love them.
I'm looking forward to getting my own. I'm looking forward to my
about
own.
2 weeks.
And by the way, every Ravens home game. How long are we running this drawing?
We're going to do one at the end of October and one at the end of December.
So here's the deal. Between now and the end of October, any Tyus Bowser show.
Yep.
Or any Ravens home game, you go to the
Hammerjacks,
the Mother's Tailgate
at
Hammerjacks. And it's free admission.
Yeah.
There's the VIP package as well that gets you all the the good stuff.
Yep.
And you go to hammerjacks.com in order to get that. But you can just wander over to the Press Box Ginsu Grills tent.
Get food samples.
And sign up to win a
Ginsu. Chef Carberry.
Is that who it is? Really?
Mike Carberry.
Oh, okay, all right.
Chef Carberry cooking the
That's
sausages.
Awesome. That's awesome.
He's actually really a cook at a restaurant.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Works out nicely.
That's very cool. And you can sign up to win your own Ginsu Kamado grill and $500 in grilling meats.
Yep.
And we will pull a winner at the end of October and at the end of December. And you can sign up again at any Tyus Bowser show or at the Mother's Tailgate at Hammerjacks for any Ravens home
And if
game.
you just want to reserve one, you can go to ginsugrills.com.
That's the best way to do it.
And you put in tailgate, promo code tailgate,
and you get $100.
And you get $100 off.
Yep.
$100. I mean, that's
pretty good
significant.
deal.
Yeah.
Pretty good deal. John Colson,
Okay.
appreciate it.
Bye,
Thank
friends.
you, sir.
Thank you.
When we come back in, it's 12:16, and we haven't even taken the last commercial break yet. Got a little out of hand here. When we come back in, we'll get a tidbit. We'll get to you. We'll wrap it up. It's Glenn Clark Radio. See Olympic athletes in action as the nation's best horses and riders compete in one of the world's premier equestrian events at the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Academy, October 13th through 16th in Cecil County. Don't miss the breathtaking excitement of the dynamic cross-country competition or the elegance of dressage and precision of show jumping. There's also great shopping and activities, including a fresh food fest, corgi race, and a beer, wine, and spirits showcase. So come enjoy a beautiful fall day at the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, October 13th through 16th. Learn more and buy tickets at maryland5star.us.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The Baltimore County Police Department is hiring. Entry-level officers start at close to $59,000 a year with a $10,000 bonus. Some restrictions apply. Plus a great retirement plan, medical, dental, and vision insurance, advancement to specialized units, tuition reimbursement, 15 sick days earned per calendar year, and even further incentives for military members and veterans. If you have a passion for service and want a career for life, visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com or call 410-887-5542. You must be a United States citizen, possess a valid driver's license, and have a high school diploma or GED equivalent. The Baltimore County Police Department is an equal opportunity employer.
Sports betting has come to Maryland, and we're ready to help you win some money. Tune in for Simply the Bets every Tuesday morning at 11:40. FanDuel Sportsbook GM Leon Twyman and VSiN's Aaron Oster join the guys every week to give you all of the info you need and offer you a few winners. And every other Thursday at 11:40, tune in for Weekend at Bookies as Andrew Stecca and Alloy Sports' Brad Kronthal help make you some money for the weekend. So come win some money with us on Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday. Brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. Watch at YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline.
The Maryland Lottery presents Ravens' Greatest Plays. 2021, the game on the line. With 3 seconds left, the Ravens connect on an impossibly long 66-yard field goal to beat Detroit, the longest field goal in history. Another great Ravens play belongs to Touchdown Joe from Silver Spring. Joe scratched a Raven scratch-off and won a top prize of $100,000. You could be next. Play Raven scratch-offs to win instant cash or enter to win great second chance prizes. Please play responsibly.
Experience the best in Kamado Grilling, a complete outdoor cooking appliance. The Ginsu Kamado Grill allows anyone to sear, grill, bake, and smoke all types of food. Designed for efficiency and function, the Ginsu Kamado Grill upholds the enduring legacy of the iconic Ginsu brand. The Ginsu Kamado Grill is perfect to cook all year round, is great for parties, and ideal for tailgating with your friends. Reserve your Ginsu Kamado Grill today at ginsugrills.com and get $100 off on your pre-order when you use the promo code TAILGATE. That's ginsugrills.com. Reserve yours today.
Join Glenn at halftime of every Ravens game for the Project Game Day halftime show at facebook.com/PressBoxSports. We apologize in advance. There's not much we can do about his face.
Damn that. Don't get it. All right, winding down for a Wednesday edition that ran way long. Would You Rather Wednesday brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Again, get me your responses at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Someone will win a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. Tidbit is brought to you by Guilford Hall Brewery, which is where we're going to be for the next Tyus Bowser Show, which is coming up on October 4th. But before then, you're going to want to be there for Oktoberfest this Saturday, the 24th, noon to midnight. You can get in for free, but there's 2 VIP packages available, $30 for all you can drink of their delicious craft beers. And again, the party goes for 12 hours.
I mean, the more I'm thinking about it, like, that doesn't seem...
The math, it seems it's going to ruin my business model is what it sounds like. Now, most people probably won't stay for 12 hours, is my guess. Like, most people will probably only go for, part of the day. But, yes, if you actually stayed for 12 hours, I have no idea how this works for Guilford Hall Brewery, and I probably should not be encouraging such activity. But a 12-hour party, $30 for all you can drink, $80 for all you can drink and eat from their delicious Bavarian menu. If you don't have plans Saturday, first of all, if you have plans, cancel them. If you don't have plans, now you do. GuilfordHall.com is the website, and if you have not been to Guilford Hall Brewery, it is a gem, man. 1611 Guilford Avenue in Station North. It is a phenomenal place for hanging out, for watching games. They're now open 7 days a week, and they got inside and outside areas. They've got multiple levels, dining areas. I am blown away by what an amazing establishment this is in the Station North neighborhood. It's one of the true gems of our city. Guilford Hall Brewery. Again, guilfordhall.com, and get your tickets for Oktoberfest on Saturday.
All right, so this one I actually heard on the radio broadcast of the Orioles game Monday night.
Okay.
Jeff Hollander and
probably not Jeff Hollander.
Yeah, Brett Hollander and Jeff Arnold
yes.
were doing it, and so he had one Miguel Cabrera, who is one of 2 baseball players in the history of the sport to have 500 home runs and also have 4 batting titles.
That's remarkable.
He joins one other individual. Would you like to try to guess?
No, it's because it's 12:22.
Ted Williams.
He was really good. Yeah. It's pretty amazing. That really is pretty amazing.
Yeah. And then the other one, this was from Monday Night Football. Kirk Cousins fumbled again. And since the stat was that they showed on ESPN was that he has 72 fumbles since 2015, which is the most in the National Football League.
His Monday Night Football thing is even more remarkable. Though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just how? And what it really might be is a reflection of playing good teams versus bad teams. It might be that we're specifically pulling up Monday Night Football numbers, but like if you really went through it, you would see that Kirk Cousins against teams with 500 records it might be that you find something else in there. But Jesus Christ, how can you be in the league for this long and just be this putrid?
So he does have the most fumbles. However, he doesn't have the most fumbles lost since 2015, which is a separate stat. So I want to know if you can tell me who he is. Where is he? He's okay. So he's tied for second with the most fumbles lost. But I want to know if you can tell me who's number 1, and then who rounds out that top 5 of fumbles lost in the NFL since 2015.
Are they all quarterbacks?
They are. It's essentially a quarterback stat. There are 2
because they're strip sacks.
Yeah, there are 2 non-QBs with 12+ fumbles lost, 2 running backs.
Since 2015, you said?
Yes.
And are they all active?
They are all active, yes.
Because I would have thought.
So it's not. The list will kind of make sense, I guess, once you hear it.
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff is in the top 5. Number 5, 25 fumbles lost since 2015.
I had no particular reason to think that, but he kind of fits some of the.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz is tied with Kirk Cousins with 28 fumbles lost since 2015, tied for second, the most since 2015.
Our strategy's paying off so far.
Yeah.
Since 2015. Stafford.
Stafford would be a good guess. He has lost 21, so not top 5.
Derek Carr.
Number 1, Derek Carr, 32 fumbles lost since 2015.
Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill is on. He's high up there, not top 5. 18 fumbles lost for Tannehill.
Joe Flacco.
Flacco
might not have played enough.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston just outside the top 5 with 24 fumbles lost for Jameis.
I'm going to have to go with better quarterbacks in the second.
Yeah, you will have to go with
Russell Wilson.
Slightly better quarterback. Not Russell
He's
Wilson.
escapable that's the problem is that
Russell has 17 fumbles lost.
And Tom Brady doesn't take hits, so it's not Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady, he's not even anywhere near the top.
I was expecting
list.
it to be Ben Roethlisberger, but you said these are all active quarterbacks.
Yeah. I'm surprised Ben isn't I'm trying to find him.
So I feel like Aaron Rodgers is mobile.
He is a former MVP.
It's active.
That is active. Yes. Different team than he won the MVP with currently.
Different team currently than he won the MVP with. Different former MVP. It's on a different team than he won the MVP. Why am I blanking on this? Why am I suddenly not? The hell is going on? Different. Former MVP. Oh, Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan, yes. 28 also,
Should've,
28
yes.
fumbles lost. So that is the top 5. Derek Carr, Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan, and Jared Goff. And then Melvin Gordon. And Melvin Gordon has 17 fumbles lost, which is more than a lot of quarterbacks.
I apologize. Proctor, I just saw you guessing. But most of yours were wrong, except for Goff. And he did come up with Matt Ryan, so he's got that going for him. All right, is that it?
The most, just for fun, the most fumbles in all time is Brett Favre, 166.
That makes sense. Brett Favre was reckless. That makes all the sense in the world.
I wanted,
as it turns out, also a piece of crap.
Yeah. I wanted to see if I could do fumbles lost all time, but fumbles lost I think wasn't accounted for until the mid 2000s as a stat. So it's kind of
sacks weren't. It's a whole deal, man.
Yeah.
All right, very good.
Favre doesn't have the most fumbles lost all time, though. That is Eli Manning. Has the most fumbles lost.
I don't think I knew that. That's interesting. All right, here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise. Totally Tubular is
and then Big Ben's second, 51. Sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I wanted to
it's
add
only
these
12:27. We've only been doing this and we got work to do later today. It's going to be a day. Here at Totally Tubular is brought to you by the Maryland 5-Star. Come see Olympic athletes in action as the nation's best horses and riders compete in one of the world's premier equestrian events at the Mars. Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, October 13th through 16th in Cecil County. Here's what's coming up, Totally Tubular. If you're a glutton for punishment, the Orioles play again tonight against the Tigers. So
Jordan Lyles on the mound. It's a win.
I hope he goes against Matt Manning, 7 o'clock on Masson. They also have Nationals Braves right now on Masson and on the rest of the country on MLB Network. Mets Brewers 3:30 on MLB Network. Cardinals Padres at 9:30. CBS Sports Network. Washington Spirit and Angel City FC at 10:30. ESPN2 the Leagues Cup. Griffin never misses it. Chivas and FC Cincinnati at 7:06. Club America and Nashville SC at 9:06. TBS for AEW Dynamite Grand Slam tonight at 8 from Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York, including, of course, the huge championship match between
the one guy and the other guy.
There you go. Nailed it. That's 2 guys going for the championship tonight. I think Andrew Stecca likes the idea of 2 guys. Brian Danielson and John Moxley for the strap tonight at Arthur Ashe Stadium. You definitely should have known that. Anything non-sports-wise?
Yeah, a couple things, actually. New season of Season 44 of Survivor premieres tonight.
When you said a couple things, I thought it was going to be something interesting.
Well, there are interesting things. Okay. Survivor is interesting to me. I like
you
Survivor.
say so.
Abbott Elementary, that show, Season 2 premieres of Abbott Elementary. The Andor Star Wars series with you're not into that one. But the Rogue One movie.
People are, so I'm fine with it. Yeah. It's just not my thing.
I'm excited for that one. And then there's a Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix that's coming out today.
Okay.
And then Meet Cute movie on Peacock looks really dumb. Kaylee Cuoco and Pete
Do you have
Davidson.
these things on this list, but you don't have Archer on the list?
I have Archer on the list, but it's not like it's not like the premiere.
Archer matters though.
It's on the list.
Anytime an episode of Archer is on, it matters.
Whether it's a rerun.
It's a good. No, not that. A new episode. It's a good show.
I have it on my list. I don't have
it
as one of
people
my highlights.
like. It's a show people enjoy. You put meet cute.
This movie looks so stupid. It's like a time. So like she's like a time machine.
Don't. 12:29.
It looks so
We're not going
bad.
to talk about meet cute. We're not going to do that. All right. Thanks today to Shaun King. Thanks. You still want to say something else about meet?
I mean, I would have, but it's just a dumb movie.
Thanks to Shaun King. Thanks to Drew Forrester. We'll get that and, of course, the entirety of the Tyus Bowser Show with Marlon Humphrey up in the greatest hits section of the tab at glennclarkradio.com. On the program tomorrow, Maryland legend Vernon Davis is going to join us. He's going to the Maryland Athletics Hall of Fame. Our buddy Sal Palantonio will be with us tomorrow. He is working the ESPN radio broadcast of Ravens Patriots on Sunday. What do we do on Thursdays? Oh, picks. We do picks on Thursdays. So we'll do that and stuff and things. We'll get you segment number 2 of the Tyus Bowser Show as well. All right. Thanks to everybody. Oh, you know what? I need to thank the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Love them. Love them. Best place to watch and bet on every game. If you want to reserve your spot, they're always busy during football season. Make sure you get your table, your reclining chair for you, your friends, your group, whoever it is, by emailing events@sportssocialmd.com. Thanks, everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including the Baltimore Police Department, Glory Days Grill, Royal Farms, Costa Sin, the Maryland Lottery, Guilford Hall Brewery, Grade 8's Memorabilia, the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, Maryland Vascular Specialist, the all-new Ginsu Grill, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Thanks. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, where we got some content coming through at Glenn Clark Radio. All right. Have a great Wednesday night. Go Birds. Why not? Duke sucks. Ohio State sucks, too.